What is going on, guys? We are here. We are live. Well, I don't know about Mark. Mark might have walked off to get a drink or something.
I'm here.
We are here. We are here. What's going on, everybody? We're not that late today, so that's a plus. But we are here just like we are every single Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific for the Gaming with Geeks podcast. We've got all our regulars, plus you know him, you love him, the great Uche Waneri. Uche, what's going on, brother?
What is going on, geeks and gaming with geeks and everything under that? Glad to be here today.
Couldn't even get the name right. Look at him. Look at him. Couldn't even get the name right. So.
And also sipping on some coffee because it's probably like 3:30 in the morning for him. We've got our Aussie Lethal. What's up, Lethal?
4:30, but I'm sure you guys can keep me awake, hopefully. I just did like a 2.5 hour stream like I normally do, and we spent an hour of it talking about a bodybuilder that married a sex doll, so it's all uphill from here, right?
Yeah, I saw that story.
That's true. I mean, hey, you know, you got to take what you can get, I guess. At least she's not going to talk back to you.
I'm telling you, if the term sex doll is what painted that guy in a bad light, if they just called it robotic companion, he would be celebrating.
Of course, Mark thinks that's
basically
okay.
what X-Ray Girl has. So, speaking of sex robots, Mark the Cyborg.
Hello.
How
there.
are you doing today?
Good, quite well. X-Ray Girl has taken me on full time as her sex robot. I enjoy it.
I bet you do. And on that note, Jeremy, what's up?
What's going on? Happy to be here. There's one person in the chat saying it's echoing. Does anyone else have that issue? If it's just one person, that's not anything we can address. But if everyone else is hearing it, let us know. But yeah, happy to be here. We got a lot of gaming stuff to talk about. And last week we had a great week on the podcast. And now I think we're going to have a better week this week. So let's do it.
That's right. I do hear something, like someone has something on or something too loud. I do hear something. It's very faint, but that's all right. We do have a couple super chats to get to before we even get into topics. Lethal Lightning for Aussie $2. My God, Brie, baby, ride my face, baby. From Lethal.
I said to keep it classy today, so that's the way that Lethal starts us out right there. So
You should have seen the one I typed first before I slept. Before
Yeah.
The one that YouTube rejected. Please sit on my face,
dude. I spent the other day during Ryan's. What was that stream you had? Was it a birthday stream or something? Yeah, it was your birthday stream. I tried so many times to cuss him out with my $100 super chat, and it kept rejecting. So finally, I just said something really quick and simple, and people were like, "Damn, really?" I was like, "Look, I spent 30 minutes trying to cuss him out, and it kept rejecting it." So, yeah,
that was true. That's true. We got a lot of super chats. Inquisitor Matthias for $5. Off topic. Oh, God. Jeremy, I am cool with you liking the newest episode on Mando, but apparently there are a lot of bad tisms on it.
That's an EFAP fan for sure.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I feel that we're definitely back into Star Wars fandom, where Star Wars fans are arguing over the quality of Star Wars and not the identity politics of Star Wars, and I'm happy about that. And so I don't, that's a good place to be. It doesn't mean Star Wars is saved or is fixed or anything like that. It just means that we're at least beyond the bullshit of the sequel trilogy for a short period of time. Doesn't mean we can't go back to it, but where we are right now, I'm much happier than I was during the sequel trilogy bullshit. So yeah, good stuff all the way around.
There you go. Yeah, and we talked a lot about this on Friday Night Tights yesterday. We had a pretty good discussion. So pretty a lot of different opinions on there too. So you want to check that out. Make sure to check out Gary's live channel when he re-uploads it. Geeky Pixie for $2. Good morning, geeks and gamers and fellow fans. Thank you, Geeky Pixie. Good morning to you as well.
Geeky Pixie got to play with the Geeks and Gamers girls on Call of Duty.
Apparently she was carrying them too. Every 2 minutes I hear X-Ray Girl just saying, "Oh my God, we would be screwed without Pixie right now."
Raging Rhino for Aussie $4.49. It's a super sticker, a little fist bump from the pear-shaped man. Thank you, Raging Rhino. I just burped. Dragon Ball Chick for Canadian $3.99 gives the mark. Let me find that real quick.
I love how that's become the Mark logo, right?
Well, the mark.
Yeah, right.
I'm not a milk brewer though, and that milk's open. Like, I don't
No, but
know.
that's how you looked when they said don't go near the truck, and you're like, okay.
Huh?
I wasn't on camera. You have no idea.
This is the mark. Right here.
See, Mark, this is the point where if you do have to step away, you just turn your camera off, or you're gonna get memed.
There you go. When I turn my camera off, it is a meme. It's Boba
When I turn
Fett.
my camera off, I'm
Boba
pulling a
Fett.
tubing. So I'm pulling a tubing. So
There you go. Pauly D for €5.49. Should the team have been ready to shoot when Mark pulled the truck over in Warzone?
No, you shouldn't have gone near the fucking truck in the first place.
You've
like
been
you said,
shooting
like,
while I
five
was
times.
still driving.
You know, it's not like we said like 5 times, don't go near it.
yeah, Mark fucked up. That's really what it comes down to.
I see a lot of Brie Larson milkers in the chat, so good to know that the thumbnail's doing its job today. That's always good to know. But Mark's showing this. What is this?
That's me playing really well.
Oh God! You think we want to see that?
I love how it has to be clipped because like, oh look at this, I played well. I can prove it.
Look at this.
I blew up a mine, a C4. Yeah, who cares? Who cares?
That's pretty good, Mark.
Stay away from the truck.
Oh, shit, there's somebody right there. Go get him.
There is somebody right there for a little bit. He's not going to be there for much longer.
Yeah, Mark.
Got him in the back.
Crept up behind him.
Redemption.
I'm very, very
huh?
sneaky, sir.
Get in the truck. Let's see what happens.
All right.
This is Mark's redemption story right here. So
That Claymore
Oh,
mine later
shit.
kills 2 people at once.
What is that? I never seen that model right there.
Good job, Mark. That guy was creeping up on you too.
Yeah, it was.
I'm very, very sneaky, sir, but cannot be snuck up upon.
look at Mark go.
Look at him go.
Get that sniper.
I'm trying to
proud of
figure out if I want the sniper or if I want to keep my AR and SMG. But
All right. Well,
I'm getting emotional watching this. It's almost like Sarah Fuller kicking a 30-yard kick. I'm so proud.
You just changed the world.
Jeremy,
Praise
you
the
wish
world.
you've ever had a good enough run in Warzone to even want to clip it. Come on.
I don't play Warzone.
Yeah, anymore.
I mean, I didn't really. I played it to in the beginning because
And it
I
was
didn't
trash.
understand it. But once I learned it was battle royale, not my thing. Not my thing.
all right. When's that Claymore gonna kill somebody, Mark? I'm ready to fucking
That
move
actually
on.
doesn't happen for a little while. There's
Oh,
like 9
damn
minutes
it,
left.
Mark. We've lost
Well,
viewers already.
Okay, all right, let's get back to the podcast.
They're bailing. They're bailing.
Yeah, we already lost viewers, Mark.
Yeah, I didn't say you had to watch the whole thing. I just wanted to throw it on in the background.
All right. Gary N for $5. Hail everyone. I really love the Geeks and Gamers content even more than usual lately. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Dreary Nitpicker for $4.99. So, so Ellen Page is turning into Ryan after all. I saw this coming in Umbrella Academy season 2. That forehead, goddamn. Ryan could copyright strike her. I'm reading a super chat, so everyone's very clear. But thank you, Dreary Nitpicker. I mean, everybody wants to be me. What can I say? Nerd Cookies for $2. Is that the Lethal Lightning? Wink face.
I'm a nerd cookies and Jane Fury simp.
There you go. You could have just said you're a simp, Lethal. We would have believed you. But of course, nerd Cookies and Jane Theory, good people. But speaking of video games, something went down major yesterday that kind of rocked the entire industry, and that is what's happening at BioWare. Some big names leaving BioWare. Who knows what's going to be next for them, the projects they're working on, and the industry in general. Mark, tell us a little bit about what exactly the situation is.
So, 2 very important people left BioWare. Casey Hudson, who was the creative director on all 3 Mass Effect games. There were only 3. And Mark Dara, who I think was the exec producer on Dragon Age Inquisition and was kind of the lead on the first 2 Dragon Ages as well, or like creative. I forget what his exact title was there. But the main Dragon Age guy and the main Mass Effect guy are finally just like, yeah, we're out of BioWare. Which after everything that's gone on with both Mass Effect Andromeda, which is a game that they didn't make, and Anthem, has kind of put BioWare in a really bad spot lately. And there's been all sorts of stuff with them tearing down Anthem and trying to make Anthem 2.0, and then saying that they're canceling Dragon Age 4 and turning it into a live service game. So in my opinion, pulling the parachute cord was probably the best idea for both of them. And I hope they go on to not work for EA.
The circle is complete.
Yeah, that's actually the worry, because I mean, as much as I can sit here and compliment something like major players leaving a company to create another, like a Respawn, ultimately it kind of came full circle because Respawn is now attached to EA again. You know what I mean? So
I look at this and I just remember the days of Mass Effect in its heyday in the trilogy. And, I think we saw this happen with multiple, major, what were kind of independent developers before they were bought up by the big corporations like Microsoft, and how how their situation with Bungie played out. And now, seeing BioWare and how their situation is playing out, looking at Bethesda. Bethesda was in and of itself a huge corporation. But again, once the bottom line starts becoming bigger than the art that these creators are making, they begin to splinter off and try to, become an indie developer. I mean, Bethesda had their situation where now you had a lot of people who were involved with Fallout leaving and creating their own kind of Fallout style kind of game. What was it called again? I forget the name of it. The Outer Worlds.
That was actually, it was a separate studio to begin with. It was Obsidian. They're the studio, though, that made Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah. Well, thank you for correcting me on that, Mark. This just a big, kind of an exodus of these creators. They're not necessarily involved with or care so much about, bottom line and boardroom politics. They really want to create good games, good products. And when you see companies like EA, Microsoft kind of interfere in that, the guys who kind of had the vision for those properties, they just decide to leave. It's just kind of, that's been the trend, over the last so many years.
Well, and we talked a little bit before we went live. So many of the ex-Blizzard people that started Dreamhaven, it seems like people are starting to flee some of these established places and kind of do their own thing. You have to wonder if, with both of these guys leaving right now, if a couple months we might hear them pop up somewhere else. We also recently heard the guys from Ben's studio who did Days Gone. Both of them left just a couple days ago as well, very, very quickly. What's your take on all this, Lethal?
I think the BioWare we all knew and love is dead, gone. EA has just completely destroyed it. I'm still looking forward to that Mass Effect trilogy remaster. I will be getting that. But anything new coming out, be very, very skeptical. Like the days of KOTOR, they're gone. They're never coming back.
Yeah.
KOTOR is done. We'll never see a third one.
Yeah, I think it's much like when you say the days of BioWare are gone, it's almost like the days of Halo are gone. We're never going to get back to that, So you can kind of just...
Halo's sort of going in the opposite direction now. It's like
they're bringing back.
They're going back to that OG style, bringing back all the original makers.
We've heard that a lot, and again, we'll see when the next one comes out that's been delayed, which was very disappointing when that was delayed. So we'll see. I mean, again, I have faith in it. I'm not kind of checked out on Halo as much as I know how the fandom has checked out on Halo, because you go back to the Halo heydays. Nothing was as big as any property has ever been, and it's just fallen so far, and we continue to hear every time like they're going to get us back on track, and I feel like this is the last try for them.
From a talent drain standpoint, though, Halo got Joseph Staten, who wrote Halo 2 and 3, I believe 3 as well, back into in a lead creative role for Halo Infinite recently too. So I think that part of one of the big reasons for the delay was, instead of people being like, okay, these projects are on fire, all the important people are leaving, Microsoft's handled it in the way that this project's on fire, let's get a really important guy back to help captain the ship. And I think that's a better sign than where BioWare's at right now.
Well, the thing is, that's the case. Casey Hudson coming back was supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Casey Hudson coming back for Anthem and for Mass Effect, because they announced just last month, Casey Hudson announced that they were in development of the next Mass Effect game. all that, is down the fucking toilet now.
Yeah,
I mean,
will.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead, Uche.
No, I was just gonna say, as far as Halo's concerned, I think Microsoft made the right move. I don't want a bad Halo game. I don't want that. Like, I'm a huge Halo fan. I mean, I kind of veered off of it once they finished the main story with Master Chief and they started going into more of the military and just the overall moved away from having him as the main narrative character. I kind of went away from it, because at that point it's all kind of Halo-ish, but it's not really Halo until you have Master Chief leading the charge. And, I would rather that game I'd rather them do exactly what CD Projekt Red has done with Cyberpunk and delay it damn near a year in order to get it right. I don't need that to be a launch title. I'll wait for that knowing that I'm going to get a quality product or expecting to get a quality product rather than hoping to get a quality product.
Well, I think, and I don't want to take us too far down the Halo thing. I think maybe we as fans that are still giving it a chance didn't need it to be a launch title, but I feel like the Xbox Series X needed it as a launch title, and it needed to be a grand slam because it's so far behind. But back to the BioWare thing. I mean, me and Mark's talked about this. I think competition's a good thing. And if creative voices are breaking off and creating, independent studios or new franchises, I think that that's ultimately good for the consumer, especially if those creative voices feel like that they're, being hindered in any way. So we'll see where it all plays out. But it does seem like when a company when creative voices break off and create an independent studio, it kind of comes back full circle, because look at Titanfall 2 and how that was completely ruined by EA with the release date and where they put it. But they gave Respawn the capital and the infrastructure they needed to develop the best game possible. But ultimately, they killed the game at the same time. So that's the problem.
Now Respawn is kind of the only thing. It's the only jewel in EA's crown right now, because Apex Legends and Jedi Fallen Order are sort of the only big hits that EA's had outside of sports in the last little bit. So
it's true.
I think that ultimately, I think EA might be realizing that they probably should have put more weight behind Titanfall 2 than Battlefield 1 when all is said and done.
Respect women.
Well, it does seem like they're trying to spread the Respawn seed a little bit to other parts of EA, to other studios.
Yeah, Vince Zampella is running DICE LA right now, DICE being the Battlefield studio, but now the Respawn guy is running a DICE studio.
And Vince Zampella is the guy who created, and he was the main creative voice on the Modern Warfare games, correct, Mark?
Yes.
He was
in Modern Warfare 1 and 2.
Yeah, and then broke off and headed up Respawn.
Yeah, that was, I actually talk about it in the December new release video a bit, because Respawn actually is releasing a VR Medal of Honor game. Their original studio was called 2015 Inc., and they made Medal of Honor Allied Assault. And then they wanted to have non-American protagonists, so British and Russian protagonists, for their next World War II game, next Medal of Honor game. And EA is no, the Congressional Medal of Honor is an American medal. It has to all be American protagonists. And they're like, okay, we're leaving. And they created a series with Activision called Call of Duty. It's done pretty well since. And then eventually Activision pissed them off, and they went back to EA to make Respawn and made Titanfall and Jedi Fallen Order, Apex. Yeah. They'll move around.
Yeah, so all in all, it's an interesting phenomenon. We have a lot of people leaving these big studios. We'll see if they end up anywhere. But for sure, I can say, I think all of us on here understand it's not a very good thing if you're looking forward to the next Mass Effect game, if you're looking forward to Dragon Age 4 and for BioWare in general.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and hit a couple of these super chats, guys. Boom, boom. Thank you guys so much again for all of the support today. We appreciate it. All the likes, all the shares, everything. To Tim 505 for $2. You're gonna watch the Game Awards live. Here's the thing: the Game Awards are on when everybody's gonna be knuckle deep in Cyberpunk. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. We might do something because it is gonna be a big story. But I think it's going to kind of get swept under the rug a little because of the hype for Cyberpunk, which we'll be talking about in a little bit as well. Butter Biscuit, $2. Hashtag make Madden great again, Uche.
Yes, sir.
Roll it back 15 years. We'll see if they can do it. Darth Vader for $4.99. Hello, geeks and gamers. It's good to see you all. I enjoy the content you guys have been doing. Keep kicking ass.
Thank you.
We will try, Lord Vader. We appreciate. Or sorry, Darth Vader. We've got another Lord Vader. You're Darth Vader. We'll keep you straight. My Nerdy Home became a member, which I think she might have been a member for. Maybe she's updating her payment stuff. But thank you, Steph. And also Geeky Pixie becomes a member as well. Thank you to both of you.
We've had a lot of great support lately, so thank you all so much. On Twitch, which if you're not following us on Twitch, Geeks and Gamers, Geeks_and_gamers over there. And tomorrow, Mario Kart. Ryan, are we going to have everybody on camera? Or at least as many that can make it?
I'll fucking do it. We'll fucking do it.
All right, so looking forward to that.
Yeah, it'll be all right. We'll figure it out. It's not too hard. Jury Nitpicker for $1.99. Any of you play Baldur's Gate 3 yet?
Yeah, I made a video on it. On the stream.
Is that the video I had to fucking upload like 4 times?
I don't know, man. That you could be talking about a lot. I think actually that one was Ghost Runner, but Baldur's Gate 3, it's an early access game right now. So while I think it's really good, I think if you're not super pumped to play it, wait until it actually launches properly. Because I think a lot of problems will be fixed. The whole game will be there because right now it's just one of the 3 acts that are playable. And it'll likely improve quite a bit over the next year. Also, save files won't carry over. So even if you play Act 1 now, once the full game launches, you have to restart Act 1. Basically, right now, you'd be paying to be a beta tester and provide feedback for the game to help make it better, which is kind of a cool experience in its own way, but it's not exactly like paying for a finished product.
How many hours of content is it, though?
I got through it in about 25, 20. And so there's a lot. There's a lot there, and like that's just playing as one character build, making one set of choices, because it is really the type of game where your dialogue choices really impact the relationships you make with the other characters and how the story unfolds. So like there's a lot there to play right now, but you are playing like a beta test. And but the company's clear about that. Like they're like, yes, this is our early access version. We want to make the game in a collaborative way with the community. And if you want to help us with that, cool, but you're not buying a finished product right now. However, you get the finished product for free at the end if you do buy into the early access.
Yeah, very true.
All right.
Did that sell you, Uche? You sold on it now?
I'm gonna go get me a Baldur's Gate.
Pauly D for €5.49. Do you guys rock 8 attachments on a primary weapon or use 6 perks on Cold War?
Both. Depends on my class.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, I run the FAMAS, the FFAR, and I run 5. Gun. No, dude, I love that gun so much. That's old school, man. That's Black Ops. That's a Black Ops 1 gun. And
I know, but F that gun in this game.
I love it in this game. Like last night, Lethal and I were playing Nuketown TDM, and I was running my MP5 for the first half of the match, and I was getting absolutely slaughtered. And then, and we were getting slaughtered. Lethal was still doing what Lethal does. He's always good. But so I switched over to that gun, and I just started wrecking fools, and we won barely. But yeah, I love that gun. But I only run 5 on that one. But then other guns like the MP5, I have to run. I have to run the all 8 attachments. So it just depends, really.
Yeah,
M16
mix it up.
For me, M16 is just that's a beast of a weapon, and you run it with the full attachments, killing on that, and the Krieg. The Krieg for me that's like right there, right next to the M16.
Yeah, I started using the Krieg the other day. It's pretty good.
I need to rank that gun
Krieg
up.
has no kick whatsoever. It just barely moves, and when you got the right perks with it and the right attachments, and man, the recoil. There's no recoil. You just keep going straight down, mowing cats down. That's how I do it.
I will say for anybody that's thinking about using the FAMAS, like I've not heard of anyone that likes that gun but me at this point. So, I mean, even Lethal doesn't like it.
Yeah,
and if Lethal can't use it, yeah. So I wouldn't recommend it, but I just loved that gun so much in the first Black Ops. And for some reason, it has a good feel for me on this one.
Yeah, but to answer the question, I'd say mix it up. You want to have a class like situation or kind of how you play. Like I'm a very defensive type player, I use a lot of landmines and stuff like that, so I want to have code flooded, whatever. But if you're running around, I would recommend Flak Jacket, especially. I reckon it's going to get nerfed, so use it while you can.
It's OP as hell.
I hate Flak Jacket. F that shit. I hate that because it cost me so many kills. And I also hate the mask where they're invulnerable to being stunned or whatever. I hate that.
Oh, the little gas mask, little symbol that pops up. I hate that.
Exactly. Pauly D for €5.49. I like to think that face Mark is earnest and matter of fact, and then heel Mark would make up lies and manipulate and be too smart to get caught.
I try to, like, I think I made the joke last week that to go with the Jordan Peterson philosophy of tell the truth or at least don't lie, and it makes me a pretty bad YouTuber.
Pretty bad at Among Us as well.
But I keep my room pretty clean there, Bucko.
That's right. We know you keep your room clean, Mark. I mean, it looks pristine even when you're not there. So there you go. Salsa Shark for $5. Definitely feeling illness coming on. Expected to hit around 9-10. Possibly stretching to the next day. Or the 9th or 10th. Whatever will I do with all that free time? I would play Cyberpunk, Salsa Shark, like a lot of people will probably be doing.
Or you could play the Kate Bishop update on Marvel's Avengers.
No.
Be the third person playing that game.
Yeah. I need a third. I need a second.
Be the only three on be the only ones on the server.
Miss Martin Muses with a rose. Thank you so much, Teresa. We appreciate that. Christoph, the Polish guy, for 25 Polish monies. Might sound awkward video request, but I would love to know each of your top 10 favorite video games, especially Mark with a K, the cyborg.
Of all time or like this year?
Ever.
Of all time, Mark.
Oh man, no, that would take me some time.
only Mark would like of this year. Most people don't have time to play 10 video games in a year.
Top 10 games of the year is something that like every website does, Jeremy. It's not that crazy an idea.
No, again, for those sites that have paid shills that get free games all year long, yes. But for actual gamers that have real opinions that don't get freebies from the studios, it's kind of crazy to think that means
our opinions should make more because every game that we'd be talking about are games that we actually had to like pay for with our own money.
That's true. But no, I would love to. We should maybe do that. Maybe do a separate show where we just talk about our top 10 games or something like that. Maybe not go into a lot of detail, but just a little bit so everybody kind of hears where we're coming from. But mine would have a lot of Nintendo, but also Half-Life 2, and Titanfall 2 would be way up there.
Half-Life 2 would definitely be on mine. I find the tricky thing about doing a top 10 of all time list with video games, especially as opposed to like books or movies, is sequels. Because like you might I might say Metal Gear Solid is one of my favorite games of all time, but like I sort of like Metal Gear Solid 3 the most out of that series, but then it's like, well, 5 kind of has better gameplay. Like there's so many things that happen with video game sequels that make aspects of them better that it's tough to not end up being like that. If you're a big fan of like Grand Theft Auto, then half of your list is Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, San Andreas.
Well, I tend to always, but the way I do that is I always only take one game from that particular franchise. Yes. Yeah. So like God of War 1, 2, and 3, I think are all fantastic, but I always put God of War 3 as my favorite because I just pull my favorite from the bunch.
Yeah,
they're all amazing.
If we made the rule one from each franchise, I think that would make it a much more coherent list. Otherwise,
I think you look at how the game itself transcended the industry, and Metal Gear Solid, the one on PlayStation, that was a transcendent game that changed how people viewed storytelling in video games. Like that was a game that had a lot of layers to it, had a lot of information, but provided an outstanding gameplay experience that synced up with that storytelling. And there's not that many games that do that. It's a refinement in the sequels as you go further and further in. But the game itself, Metal Gear Solid, is what really, kind of set the pace for the rest of the franchise, in my opinion.
Yeah,
well,
for sure.
Well, speaking of Metal Gear Solid, can we just go ahead and talk really quick about Oscar Isaac and him being cast as Snake?
I thought that was damn good. That was good casting.
I like Oscar Isaac. What was that movie he was in? That Netflix movie with
The one with Ben Affleck?
Yeah,
I love that one.
that was a
actually.
great fucking movie, and that was kind of where I recognized Oscar Isaac as actually a legitimate action star. So if I didn't see that movie, I might not have as positive of a response of this. There are actors I think that would be better for this role. Yeah, I think, and a lot of people mentioned it the other day. A few different people, but the one that I've always, maybe he's a little too old at this point, depending on what time frame you're going to go in. But like Christian Bale, I always thought would have been fantastic in the role of
Christian Bale.
No,
Absolutely,
I think he could do it.
Dude, no.
I don't think he would.
We've seen Christian Bale's Solid Snake, and that was in Terminator, and that wasn't good.
I think that was more of a McG problem than a Christian Bale problem, but I enjoyed Terminator Salvation.
I actually think Terminator Salvation was decent.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
It's the best non-Terminator 2 Terminator sequel. Like,
I love Salvation.
Salvation was so dry. It was such a dry movie.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
Legendary.
I don't know if I would say I loved it, but I think that outside of Terminator 2, which is very obviously the best Terminator sequel, it's the only Terminator sequel that I think has any value at all. Like, I don't go that far to say that I think Terminator 3, Terminator Genesis, and Terminator Dark Fate are actually pieces of shit. All three.
People didn't do Salvation because they were like, "Oh, it's too different." Now what they're doing is they're just trying to remake the same fucking.
To be fair, even Terminator 2, Terminator 2 was just Terminator 1 again. Let's get that clear. It was not a very original movie.
It was Terminator.
I wouldn't say all that.
There was much more emphasis placed on the fucking action.
It was really, really good. I'm not saying Terminator 2 wasn't phenomenal, but Terminator 2 is almost beat for beat Terminator 1. Just instead of Kyle Reese protecting Sarah Connor, it's Sarah Connor and the Terminator protecting John.
Yeah, but Terminator 2 actually had an underlying story about the connection that the Terminator was making with what's his name, the son, with Edward Furlong, John Connor.
Terminator had an underlying story about the connection that Kyle Reese was making with Sarah Connor. Like,
yes, but
we have our first kick mark comment.
The T-800, his connection to humanity was through John Connor. He had no understanding of human emotion, human logic. Outside of what he was programmed.
Whoa, we were way off topic though. Let's kind of pull it back to Oscar Isaac before we go down that rabbit hole like me and Ryan did last week.
A good pick.
Trevor besmirched Terminator 2's good name.
I'm not.
He's saying it's really good.
I'm saying
he's trying to say it's beat for beat Terminator 1. That's not even close.
No, it is, but they did it well.
They used a real helicopter.
It is, but they did it well. And the problem is, I think the other people in charge of Terminator movies think that, so that's the formula. Let's just do that again. And they've been trying to do it ever since, and it hasn't worked even a single other time.
At the end of the day, Terminator Salvation is the only one, in my opinion, that doesn't try to make Terminator 2 irrelevant.
Yeah,
and that's why I kind of dug Terminator Salvation. Everything else they've tried to do is make what happened in T2 not matter.
Yeah, and Terminator Salvation, as much as it takes place in the future, is a prequel. Let's also get that straight. It's weird because of the timelines in Terminator films, but it is supposed to exist in canon with Terminator and Terminator 2. Every single other one is like, they actually didn't stop Judgment Day after all, because we need to make more Terminator films.
Yeah. It is a Geeks and Gamers Saturday throwdown. That's what we do. But
Oscar Isaac, cyborg movies. Okay? This is my world.
Oscar Isaac, not my first choice, but I think is a good choice. So
I could definitely see him playing it. I could definitely see him playing him. Now
Triple Frontier. That's what it is. Triple Frontier.
I have not seen that. I will check it out.
You need to watch that. It's fucking good.
Now, I think Lethal and Uche are both going to know who this is. The only, I never would have thought of him before, but seeing the most recent concept art of him as Deathstroke with the eye patch, Joe Manganiello. Seeing that image of him, it's like, it could be Snake too.
He could be Snake. He could be, but he's got to be Deathstroke first.
I think the trick though with casting Snake is, are you going to use the same if they do more than one, or like even in the first one, actually they'd be playing two characters. Are you going to have that same actor play Solid Snake, Liquid Snake, Solidus, and Big Boss? Because And Venom Snake, realistically, if you're going to do the
Oh my
entire series.
fucking god! Come on, Mark, we're not there yet.
Well, but
I'm starting with one.
I think it would change the casting.
No,
you gotta
keep
think
the
of someone who
casting
has
because
the-
they're all the same, right?
No, but you'd have to think, does this person have the range to play all those
So
characters?
you mean Christian Bale should be in
No.
the role?
No,
Thank you, Mark.
no.
Mark
Oscar
agrees
Isaac,
with me.
and I was about to say it. Oscar Isaac is about as versatile an actor as you're gonna find in Hollywood right now. He's played a number of different roles. Look at him from Sucker Punch.
No,
Look at him
no.
from Star Wars. Look
Deus
at him
Ex
in
Machina
Doom.
or whatever.
Yeah, Deuce. Yes.
X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah, and
X-Men Apocalypse. I mean,
They fly now?
The dude is versatile. He's played completely polar
Not
opposite
compared to
characters.
Bale. Not compared to Bale.
Yeah, like
Tell
I
me
mean,
about Bale and what he's done that shows his versatility outside of, and I wouldn't even count Batman because Batman doesn't really show his versatility at all. You look at what was it?
Literally everything he's done.
the one where he played Dick Cheney.
Hold on,
Yeah, I love that one.
He has versatility. I love Christian Bale, but I don't see him as Solid Snake, period, at all.
Christian Bale is a fucking chameleon. He can play anybody as long as he wanted to do it. That's the thing is, would Christian Bale get on board with playing this? That's really the only question, I think. Oscar Isaac would probably be pretty easy. Like Oscar Isaac is a guy who wants to do a lot of stuff right now. He realizes that this is his time. And so he's taken on a lot of different projects.
Yeah.
He's hot right now.
If anybody questions, though, Oscar Isaac in terms of just being right for this particular role, I'd say definitely check out is it Triple Frontier? I think that's the name of it. That sounds like that's I remember that, and that's on Netflix. It's got Ben Affleck, Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy. It's got a really good cast. It's a good movie.
Isn't that like a heist movie that they did or something like that?
Kind of. That might be my favorite like Netflix original movie.
Mm-hmm. It's good. It's damn good. It's damn good.
That one with Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, that was the one I liked. It was like
that was good.
That was like pretty simple, but like enjoyable to watch. Good action. Mm-hmm. This one has a little more emotion to it, a little more depth to it, in my opinion. It's
and those guys have great chemistry on screen too. Like you feel like they have a relationship. Like they, it's kind of like the supernatural effect. With
about 2/3 of the way through that movie, I was like, "What the fuck? Are you serious?" I could not believe that it just happened. So
I'm about to go watch it. I haven't seen it.
It's
all
good.
Right. That was a fucking distraction. God damn. We got a lot of
Oscar Isaac good was my opinion for the record.
All right. Blue-Eyed Scorpio became a channel member. Thank you so much, Blue-Eyed Scorpio. Putin's Power Squat for €5. You guys are the only gaming channel I follow besides Skill Up. Well, that's a compliment. You have real honest drive and you're highly entertaining. Filoni and Snyder fights as we get into fights about other shit. Thank you very much, Putin's Power Squat.
That's what we do.
I like Skill Up. I don't always agree with him on everything, but I enjoy his content a lot. Christoph, the Polish guy, for more Polish money. Now I got curious. Jeremy, do you like God of War 4? Also, first 3 God of War are one game, just like Lord of the Rings trilogy is one movie.
Yeah, I like God of War 4. But I just like the sheer brutality of 3 and the time frame and everything. So 4 is great, but the first 3 games just are kind of set apart for me. I haven't played any of the other. What are the other God of War games? Mark?
God of War Ascension was the PS3 spin-off
I didn't.
game. It was like a prequel. I wasn't crazy about that.
Yeah,
one.
I didn't play them.
Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta were the PSP ones, and they were actually pretty solid.
Yeah, so 3 is actually the first God of War I played, and then I went back and played the first 2, and then I went and played them again when they were remastered. And even with the 3 at the time, if in my opinion, when God of War 3 came out, like that was the best looking game on any console I'd seen. And then I went back and played the first 2, and I thought I was going to kind of not really love them because of how much they had aged. But man, those games are so good.
The
so
HD
good.
collection versions run really well, like the PS3 versions of God of War 1 and 2, and actually of the PSP ones too, Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta. They're all remastered on PS3 and they look great.
Yeah, but so just some of the brutality in 3 is just like, man, Kratos is such a fucking beast, man, and some of the ways that you can kill and you just feel it in that game. I love that game. Definitely one of my favorite games ever. Peak of God of War, in my opinion.
The opening part, like going on Mount Olympus with like fighting Poseidon, is maybe
so
one of the most
good.
iconic opening kind of sequences in any games in recent memory, at least for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I was never a big guy. I never really got into God of War until I played a couple of the PS2 versions, but I just, for me, because I was a Dreamcast guy, then I was an Xbox guy, so PlayStation was kind of a passing, like, if I play a game at a friend's house, I play it. But for me, I felt like the latest one, God of War, to me, that kind of brought me on board fully with the whole God of War mythos. So I really, I'm looking forward to the next one. And
did you go back and play the first 3?
I haven't played any of the remasters. I played like a couple of the originals when they first came out, but like I said, I didn't have a PS2 until later on, and I didn't have a PS. I didn't play God of War 3. PS3, so.
You play God of War 3.
You can play God of War 3 on PS4, but that's the only one that's playable on PS4 because Sony's like terrible.
You will not regret it, dude. God of War 3 is so fucking badass.
Yeah,
You should probably watch some synopsises of God of War 1 and 2 though, because like as Lethal I think was saying that they're all kind of one story. Like it, was it not you? It was one of us.
I know he's trying to kill the gods. He's trying to get to the gods to kill them. But
2 though ends on like a massive cliffhanger. Like it basically ends in the middle of a battle, and then that's why 3 just like comes in hot. Like it
very hot
ends with like a massive battle occurring that you're like kind of at the spearhead of, and it's really awesome.
God of War 2 ends at like what should be the climax. Like literally, you're going the whole game to get to this point, and then it ends.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is it like Halo 2 in that regard?
It's more impactful than the way Halo 2 did it. Like Halo 2 did it like, there's a whole other game here to be made. Whereas God of War was like, instead of showing you the ending cinematic of this game, we're just going to end it as the cinematic is happening. And then 3 picks up in the middle of that cinematic.
Lethal, you've never played them either?
There's zero time between the end of God of War 2 and the beginning of God of War 3.
There are so many reasons that Lethal would appreciate Kratos. I'm not going to get into those reasons, but there are a lot of reasons.
Fucks bitches and kills people. I mean,
that's right.
Like slaughters people.
I mean, in the most savage way possible. Like, it's
I've seen all the
absolutely
kills.
brutal.
I've gone on YouTube and watched him rip people's heads off. Of course.
Uche just said boats and hoes. He fucks hoes on boats. He did that. So
That's the real Kratos move right there.
I know it is. It's like one of the first cutscenes of the fucking game.
Yeah.
Misanthropic one for $20. Yo, Jeremy and Ryan, I need you two on my channel ASAP. You two will have me cracking up the whole time. This is definitely one of my life goals. Love y'all. Well, thank you very much, Misanthropic one.
Huge supporter.
That's awesome, man. All I can say is my DMs are open. I get to them when I can. I get to them when I can. So, but thank you, Misanthropic one. I really appreciate that. Paulie D for €2.99. Triple Threat is the Netflix movie. Oscar is great. Yes, there it is. Price is Right for $10. Yo, sup, party animals. I finally caved and pre-ordered Cyberpunk, though I'm the third-person type player, but the huge benefits in-game is worth the learning curve. I'm so excited to gunsling in this game. Well, nice price. We're going to talk about Cyberpunk a little bit later. There's a lot of hype for Cyberpunk. Putin's Power Squat for €2. Terminator Resistance is the best sequel for Terminator 1 and 2.
That's actually pretty solid. I was fiddling around with about the first 2-3 hours of that game. I kind of got distracted by other things I was working on for videos, but I'd always been meaning to go back to it. It kind of plays like a Terminator, like Fallout game almost, or like Far Cry, kind of like a cross between those two. It's quite good.
Paulie D for $2.29. Salvation stinks. Trailer with Nin is incredible.
Nin?
I don't like Salvation either.
N-I-N.
I love it. Love Salvation. But again, I get it. I get why people don't. And Salvation was a failure. I mean, it failed.
That's true.
The day the whole world went away. Good Nine Inch Nails song too.
Fictasious for £2. Scott Adkins as Snake. That'll be all.
Yeah, I could see that.
Geeky Pixie for $2. Speaking of video games, we're gonna get there. Pauly D says Triple Frontier. Thank you, Pauly D. D for Canadian $2. Uche, recite a Sergeant Johnson Halo legendary speech.
I know the one. I wanted him to say.
Listen up, maggots.
Can you say, "Oh, I know what the ladies like"?
Oh, I know what the ladies like.
Sounded better in my head.
Pressed in Pooper for $5. It's been a while since we've seen Pressed in Pooper. Did someone just buy Jeremy a Christian Bale love doll already? So hey, his PO box is in the description.
Yeah, I would prefer Christopher Nolan, but I'll take Bale.
He's a chameleon; he can be anyone. Shark for $1, or Soul Shark for $5. Is Elliot Page allowed to review a Brie Larson movie now? I definitely support Queen Brie in her fight against toxic masculinity.
Oh, God, that is so good.
Butter Biscuit for $2. Terminator 2 is one of the best opening theme songs.
Yeah.
Thank you, Butter Biscuit.
The greatness of T2 just you can't praise that movie enough.
Yeah.
One is better.
Get the fuck out of here.
Terminator 1 is the best one.
No.
I've heard Lethal talk about this before. Yeah.
I'm on Lethal's side on this one. I'm sorry.
No.
What?
I would rather watch T2 a million times before I watch T1. They're both really
I don't
good.
even remember Terminator 1.
Terminator 2 is probably more.
Uche just says, I don't even remember Terminator 1, but he just was trying to argue a bunch with Mark, who was saying that T2 was basically just T1.
No, it wasn't. I remember enough of Terminator 1.
I don't remember anything.
I don't remember it like in depth all the way, but I do remember it. It's not better than Terminator 2. Terminator 2 changed the way that action films were made.
And the Terminator was a horror movie.
Why is it every week we argue about a specific movie on this podcast? I think this is a tradition we have to continue. We don't even plan this shit out, but this is
just
a lot
of T1s is a better movie in the chat.
And you motherfuckers are fucking idiots. T2 is the definitive action film of the last.
I remember T1, but you're idiots thinking it's better than T2.
But that's what he's saying, that T1 isn't really supposed to be an action movie. That's not the point of it. That's what Mark's saying.
It's like a suspense thriller, and it's really, really, really tightly written. Like for a movie that has time travel in it.
Did it change suspense thrillers in any way? Did anybody follow the formula that they used in that movie?
I don't know.
No, T2 did not. Because T2 was an action.
It was a beat for beat.
T2 was an action movie. I thought
it was a beat for beat.
No, that's what Mark said. I ain't say that shit.
It really was though. Like you got to watch Terminator again. Like almost everything that happens in Terminator 2, a version of that happens in Terminator 1.
Okay, explain it. Go ahead. Let's hear it. You like Trump? Go ahead.
You want me to go through the entire movie?
No, we're way off topic. We're way off topic.
Speaking of that, Brendan Bellman, $5 off topic. But what do y'all think of Spider-Man 3 possibly having Andrew Garfield and he says Tibet Maguire instead of Toby? Free Toby, Tibet Maguire. But I think it could be interesting. I don't like what's his nuts, Tom Holland. I don't really like him as Spider-Man.
Nuts.
I like fucking those other two guys better than him. I think it's interesting. MC needs to do something to shake it up. They're going full multiverse. So we'll see.
I mean, I don't like. I like Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Peter Parker. I don't like the world in which he is in, though. I don't like these movies. I don't like that world. I don't like him, but I do think he does a good job in the role. But obviously, I'm a Tobey guy. I don't like Andrew Garfield Spider-Man at all. But if Tobey's there, Tobey makes it infinitely better just by being there. That's how great Tobey is. Tobey is my Spider-Man.
I like Andrew Garfield as
Spider-Man.
Give him a good script to work with. I don't like Tom Holland. I think Tom Holland is a little bit immature for the role and how he acts it. But I think that obviously Tobey Maguire is the original and he always will have a spot. But really, if Andrew Garfield would have got a better, had a better world around him, it would have been a much more successful franchise that he was in.
But the thing is, like with bringing them all in, that's why this could work, is because they are so different. You know what I mean? You know, they are all very different. They all are different interpretations of the character. So coming together, worlds colliding, is what could make it really interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And everyone will get their favorite Spider-Man. That's also a thing too. So let me catch up with these. AK Rex for £5. What's up, G&G? More videos with Uche, please. Miss his perfect diction and rants. Have a great stream, all of you. There you go.
Hey, everybody on this team is probably going to make Cyberpunk related content for this channel and for Gaming with Geeks. Everybody, yes, Ryan will too. Everybody is hyped for this game, but Lethal and Mark are going to be heading that up in terms of, like, Mark will obviously have the official review whenever he can get that done, and then Lethal's going to be producing a lot of Cyberpunk videos, and then Uche, I know Uche's really hyped about this game, so you'll be seeing some stuff from Uche too. Yeah, good stuff all the way around.
I will need a list of all the people on Geeks and Gamers who are playing Cyberpunk that have the ability to capture footage, because I have one video where I'm planning on looking at one mission, but like through the lens of all the different choices we make, and I can't do that one alone, obviously.
Alex McCarthy for $2. Pedro is in Triple Frontier. Yeah, I think he is, actually, now that you mentioned that. Her in the Steadfast. Yeah, I think he is. Her in the Steadfast becomes a member. Thank you, Hurin. The Jack of all casuals for $1.99. Surprised no one said David Hayter to play Snake.
Well, he's far too old now. His voice is the best. I would be up for them overdubbing the Solid Snake performance with David Hayter's voice, but it would probably look weird.
What if it's Kiefer Sutherland?
I mean, I didn't hate Kiefer Sutherland as Big Boss, but I think what they should have done is have Kiefer Sutherland play Venom Snake and have Big Boss be voiced by David Hayter in Metal Gear Solid 5. They went with the wrong way to do that there.
All right, Christoph, Polish guy for 25 Polish monies. Kratos could truly show SJWs what it means to be a man. Haha! All hail Kratos. Yes, all hail Kratos.
Isn't the guy that makes the games like pretty out there?
Corey Barlog? He just he really had Druckmann's back during the controversies. So, but I mean, I don't know. I think he did a great job on God of War, God of War 4, Data Boy. But
I agree. But yeah, Corey Balrog is an enormous SJW. So
the irony.
As long as if it doesn't come through in the games, that's fine.
We don't care.
Give a fuck. Yeah.
Don't care.
So we'll see what happens with Ragnarok. Wolfsbane says, speaking of old franchise, we're not gonna fucking do this. Speaking of old franchises, favorite Rambo movie. Also, what's your favorite assault rifles in Cold War? We
just need to make this the Geeks and Gamers podcast, so we just talk about everything. That's what it's turning into.
Yeah, bad idea. Actually.
Obvious answer is First Blood, though. I mean, come on, is anyone arguing against that?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that totally.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
What was the second question?
Everybody agreed for once.
In Cold War.
The first one.
Yes.
The XM4, whatever it's called.
Yeah, FAMAS for me.
The
favorite assault rifle, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, FAMAS for me. Now, again, who asked that question?
Wolfsbane.
Okay, well, congratulations. You just asked a question that all of us agreed on, and that never happens on this show. So,
someone could ask a safe one, like, is Disney Star Wars bad?
That's true, yeah.
All right.
Well, the Mandalorian's a part of that now, so you can't say it's
Uche will probably be the one to argue it, just because Uche likes to be the different voice in the room all the time, the contrarian.
Well, things have to be taken literally at some point, right? So if you're going to say Disney Star Wars is terrible, then that means Mandalorian is terrible too.
Okay. So we talked a little bit earlier about sequels to video games. We talked about shit that is there anything we could all agree upon? Well, one of those things is probably that Last of Us 2 divided the fan base, and that Neil Druckmann, the way he handled everything was an absolute embarrassment for Naughty Dog. Well, we have some news out of Naughty Dog. Someone's getting a promotion, and it happens to be Neil Druckmann. From Naughty Dog's official website, an update from studio president Evan Wells. As we close out a year that's seen its challenges as we all live through the global pandemic, there have been bright moments too. One exciting moment for Naughty Dog was the long-anticipated release of Last of Us Part 2 in June. Another moment comes today as we wanted to share some other terrific news about the studio. At an all-studio meeting today, we announced some well-deserved promotions. Neil Druckmann now joins me as co-president of Naughty Dog after serving almost 3 years as vice president. And in addition, they're welcoming Allison Mori and Christian Geerling as vice presidents. So now they went from having one president and one vice president to 2 co-presidents and 2 co-vice presidents.
Do they have any staff left, or have they all left as well?
I see there's no female presidents.
Neil Druckmann.
I mean, it kind of goes back to that quote from Kevin Smith before he cried about everything he ever looked at. But he talked about, when he was talking about John Peters in Hollywood, you fail upwards, and this is the literal definition of that. This is failing upwards right here. This is pathetic, absolutely pathetic. So,
yeah, look, I don't consider myself really a Last of Us fan. So, I mean, I played the first one. I beat the first one. I thought it was good, but I never really got what was supposed to be so groundbreaking, so big about it. I didn't see it the same way that a lot of people saw it. Just because I guess my taste in narrative-based games is a little bit different. But Last of Us 2, I had absolutely no real excitement for. And when it came out, just watching some of the clips of the game itself, especially with old She-Man that they had running around there, I just don't really care for it. And I feel like the way that they tried to kind of back the game up as if it was supposed to be some kind of great symbolic progressive moment for gaming was just rather ridiculous to me. So whatever.
I mean, I liked The Last of Us a lot. Not one of the greatest games ever in terms for me, but I know a lot of people viewed it in that way. The first Last of Us, it was a very good game, and from a story telling standpoint and from a character standpoint, I thought that's where it excelled. But you literally destroyed all of that in The Last of Us Part 2, and the way that they treated the entire situation was a true embarrassment. And I don't know any of the real numbers. Obviously, we know that there were a lot of debate on how well the game sold. You can go to any store with your own 2 eyes, and you can see that there was no copies of Ghost of Tsushima, but you were stacks and stacks of Last of Us Part 2 over and over again. But obviously, the shill media loves The Last of Us Part 2. They love Naughty Dog. They love Neil Druckmann because he pushes all of their nonsense. But what was the story? And this is something I didn't pay a lot of attention to. I know, I'm sure Mark and Lethal probably have a lot of knowledge on this. But in terms of all of the mismanagement of the staff and everything that Jason Schreier reported on, what was going on with that?
So Jason Schreier obviously wrote an article on Crunch at a studio, which is kind of his thing. So that's not super shocking. But the interesting thing about Naughty Dog, which I don't think I've ever heard exposed for any other studio, was that apparently so many people were quitting that were in charge of doing things like graphics modeling and stuff like that. They were starting to hire people that weren't even in game development at all. They were hiring Hollywood people, because they didn't have anyone that could model at the quality they'd need to in the gaming industry that wanted to be anywhere near Naughty Dog at a certain point. So the game took a while to make because essentially they had a whole lot of talent drain, which, Jason Schreier says apparently is because of how hard they were working the staff. It could be any number of reasons, but the thing that I think impacted the story of the game the most is that apparently it was a real environment of, if anyone brought up an idea that contradicted what Neil wanted to do, or mentioned that his idea might not be perfect and they should go about it a different way, it's like they were immediately shut down. It was no, that's not the kind of game we're making, and shut up. And I think eventually you hear that enough times, and eventually you're like, all right, well, I'll go work over there. They're in Santa Monica, I'm pretty sure, LA. So there's lots of different places that people who have Naughty Dog worked on The Last of Us and Uncharted 4 on their resume can go work. And
70% of the people, right? 70% of the people that worked on Uncharted 4 had left by the time Jason Schreier wrote his article.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 70% staff turnover between the end of Uncharted 4 and in the midst of, a year before The Last of Us Part 2 released.
That's crazy.
That means you got some pretty bad management going on right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like Lethal said, promote that man. Neil Druckmann was chained. It was him and Bruce Straley who wrote The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
We know from Neil Druckmann speaking way back in 2013, 2014, when he's talking about what his goal was, all about identity politics, to create this female character, because he doesn't like people like Cortana, doesn't like people, the way they depict women in games. He'd rather have the She-Man Abby with their tiny tits hanging out while getting slammed from behind, right? That's what Neil Druckmann wants to portray women as in his game. But the thing is, as soon as he got that power, it was all him. We saw him chained in Last of Us. We saw him chained as well when him and Bruce Straley worked on Uncharted 4 after they forced Amy Hennig out. A lot of complaints about some of the things that happened in that game narratively that were changes from what they were supposed to do. But then Bruce Straley leaves the company, and it's all Neil Druckmann. And evidently Naughty Dog is doubling down on that. The sales for this game, although they set records, they stalled out. As soon as people realized that #they lied to us about what was going to happen in this game, what happened to Joel, this is a game about Ellie and Abby, people stopped buying. I have numbers from a Best Buy that I've been tracking the entire time. So the anecdotal evidence, you see these stacks. Best Buy on Black Friday, half off, right? $29.99. Stacks and stacks of these things in a cage with Marvel's Avengers. Neither of them really moved too much. I have actual numbers that showed from a Best Buy. They have had 100 copies of The Last of Us 2 sitting there for months after the release. They put it at half price. They're down to 87 copies after all the Black Friday sales.
It's crazy because they'll call that sales, right? Whatever they send to the distributor, whatever they send to Best Buy, Walmart, et cetera, those are all considered sales because they sell those to those companies. So they put that down as, well, we sold 5, 6, 10 million copies. But really, from creator to customer, it's a fraction. It's not even close.
Yeah, well, you can feel statistics known as sold through. Sold through.
Right. They didn't sell through all of it.
Right. You can feel when there's a game, and you can feel the excitement or the lack of enthusiasm. It's just a thing. If you're kind of involved in gaming, you can feel it. So, like for instance, Doom Eternal is something you could feel that people really loved that game.
Yeah, I really like
that game. If you want to take it to the next level, Ghost of Tsushima, you could feel that people love that game. Taking it to Call of Duty, Black Ops Cold War, I can feel that people are kind of checked out on that game, even though I love it, and even though most of us are really into this game. You can still feel that there's a ton of criticism. I think it's hovering at a
lukewarm. I think it's hovering.
Yeah, I think so too. And that's kind of Call of Duty. I mean, Call of Duty is going to have a mega reaction one way or the other, but I do feel that it kind of is leaning towards more negative than positive. I feel like Modern Warfare had more of a positive reaction. When it comes to The Last of Us Part 2, there was no positivity from actual gamers that I felt. There was positivity from the media that was trying to make you believe that this is the greatest game of all time. But when you actually listen to gamers, you never got the feel that gamers were enjoying this game. And that's just how it is. But the media fell in love with this game. They fell in love with the narrative that they wanted to build around it. And they did everything in their power to put out this make-believe story that this is the most beloved game of all time. And it just wasn't the case. It just wasn't.
You will still find gamers that flat out call Last of Us 2 an absolute masterpiece, 10 out of 10. My theory is that they're mostly distracted by solid performances and dialogue that sounds like it's well written, even if the story it's telling makes no sense, because the production value of The Last of Us is very high, which is why, like, when we were talking about the Game Awards nominees a couple weeks back, I said I have no problem with the performance nominations at all, because they were good. Like, I mean, again, coming from a person who didn't play the game but watched it all, I saw all the performances. I can tell you they were really solid. It seems like they cost a lot of money. I don't think The Last of Us is a game they could have made as an indie project. And I think if you read that story as a novel, it would be one of the worst books you've ever read. But there's a lot of glitz and glamour in a project with the amount of budget behind it that The Last of Us has, that can trick a lot of people into thinking, oh, this game's an absolute masterpiece. Even if like, well, the gameplay is like sort of middling stealth action. It's kind of a shitty third person shooter, but it plays well enough that I can convince myself to like it because, oh, look at how Ellie's eyes are moving in the cutscenes. It looks like a real person. Like
she played a guitar. I played a guitar. I love this game.
Yeah.
Listen,
are they going to change her name to Elliot?
There's a group of people out there that there are fans of this game. There's no doubt, but these are fans that are hyped it up for forever. These are the same people that are Raylos that ship, Ray and Kylo that go crazy over that spam hashtags over that.
Raylos are weird too, by the way.
There's a group of fucking weird people out there that do like this game, that will stand this game. And that's the audience they targeted. Neil Druckmann even the other day was like, thanks, Abby Stands, for getting this trending, encouraging these fucking nut jobs to go ahead and spam the hashtag the same way that they spammed their way to a victory in the Game Awards. Well,
right. No, well, you're right. There are people out there, and there are some weird people out there that do support these games and like these games. And I bring it back to what I've been saying, and this is going to be something I'm gonna be using as the standard moving forward. Okay, there's a group of people that like this game. Could they survive the Modern Warfare 2 lobby? That's it. And no, the group of people that love The Last of Us 2 could not survive it. Could the people that love God of War 3 or God of War 4, could they survive it? Yes. That's the standard right there. So the group of people that are into The Last of Us Part 2 are not like real gamers. They're social justice parasites. They're not really real gamers. So they could not survive the Modern Warfare 2 lobby. That's the standard right there.
Well,
that's it. So and to take it a step further, Animal Crossing couldn't survive the Modern Warfare 2 lobby because it's generally not gamers that are out there playing it. Some are, but generally speaking, not real
casuals.
Gamers.
It's your casuals.
Yes,
people who will play anything if it's got a kind of a nice kind of marketing element to it, right?
Right. So just start asking yourself that when you see a group of people that are fanning over something, just ask a simple question.
And I think
could this group of people survive the Modern Warfare 2 lobby? You'll get the answer real quick.
And most Ahsoka fans survive them.
I think it's going to be interesting to see with the next Last of Us game if they make another one. Which I mean, you guys know better than me if they're making a third one. But it'd be interesting to see how many orders companies like Walmart, GameStop, all these other ones who probably have a lot of extra stock from Last of Us 2 sitting around. It'll be interesting to see how much they order for the third one, because of course they ordered a ton for the second one because of the artificial hype from it. But now when they look at their numbers and say, well, we bought a ton of these, we really didn't sell as many as we thought we would. We're going to order 35% less in regards to, the next game. And if we sell through them, then we'll add some more. But I think that's going to be something that's going to affect the franchise moving forward, because always that second game in any good or any like highly anticipated franchise, the second game usually is overkill in how they sell. They don't sell as good necessarily unless it's like a hit, a bona fide hit. Doesn't sell as great, but going into the third one, there's usually that balance where you find out if it's really going to sell the kind of numbers that they predict it'll sell.
At the end of the day, The Last of Us sold 17 million copies, give or take, across 2 platforms. The first one. This one, you're sitting somewhere around 6,000 or 6 million copies digitally, plus the ones that are just shipped and sitting in stores. It has a long way to go. And to me, it's never going to reach it. It's completely stalled out. I think it will be eventually passed by something like Ghost of Tsushima. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. What do you think, Leith? You've been kind of quiet through this whole thing.
I think that if what happens, what Uche said, if they did sell that much of Last of Us 3, if it ever happens, all the news reports you would see is Last of Us 3 continues to break records.
Yeah. If those companies buy those copies from Naughty Dog will use that as their scale of sales rather than how many customers actually have the game. But if a company like GameStop says, well, On Last of Us 2, we bought 1 million copies. We only sold like 400,000. So we really only want 500,000 of Last of Us 3. If we sell through it, then we'll order more. But we don't want that many up front because we're already dying to stay afloat as a company. We're not going to overspend, assuming that a game is going to be a rock solid hit.
This is also, though, the generation where they're going to be able to start hiding behind physical sales numbers not mattering as much, because you could easily say, well, Last of Us 3 didn't sell as many physical copies, but a lot of people own the all digital PlayStation 5, and that's where we saw most of our sales.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes back to like with what was saying with Uche's point, like look at the rise of Skywalker and how bad it did in compared to where it should have been. But the media treated it like it was this overwhelming success and just trying to, spin it into all these records it's breaking. But anybody that's paid attention, like, this is not doing well at all. This is a 50% drop. 50% drop from The Force Awakens. But Last of Us 3, if it comes out, that they will it'll break every record ever in the history of gaming.
Kind of ironic how they got the Game Awards going around, which no one really gives a fuck about. And then while that's going around, they put out a new trailer for a game that's been out for months, showing it from Abby's point of view to get people talking about it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
It got ratioed too, from what I could see.
Did it get ratioed?
Oh yeah, to like 40%.
Nice. I didn't see that.
I just saw the Twitter one. I just saw the one on Twitter. I didn't even think about to look at YouTube. I'm not in the mode anymore. 6 months ago, God, I would have been making a video about that as soon as the dislikes went more. Oh, got to get back on the train.
Yeah, it's at 40%. 2 days ago, 174,000 views, 40% rating.
There you go. Hashtag game of the year, right? This is divisive as fuck. But you won't get that if you listen to the media. The only people that don't like it, it's just the racists, the bigots, the misogynists that don't like women in their games. That's all you hear from the mainstream media. But time after time, all the evidence shows that this game is highly divisive. And we know it's going to win Game of the Year. I think we all understand that.
They told us it was going to win Game of the Year before it even came out. Like, all the early reviews of it all said this is Game of the Year.
Yeah, actually, there were posters and trailers with like 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, masterpiece before the game launched.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've got it up here though. So this is on the PlayStation account. 424,000 views, 33 up to 21 down. But that's pretty bad. That's very bad. Go on IGN.
IGN's is bad.
176,000 views. 7.4 up to 11 down.
Nice. We got to make a video on this. I
got more shirts to sell. More losers.
That's my only, I guess, disappointment in Cyberpunk not releasing when it was supposed to, or when it was initially supposed to be released, because I kind of wanted it to get into that Game of the Year category for this year's games, because there would have been no way in hell The Last of Us 2 could overshadow Cyberpunk 2077 as Game of the Year.
They would have pulled some bullshit.
Yeah.
This game,
no way, dude. That's like no way, dude. Cyberpunk, had it made that launch in March, it would have fucking changed the entire landscape.
But we can see, like, from our point of view, not even a contest. But like, look at how these games have been portrayed in the media. Like we were saying before, Last of Us 2 wasn't even released, and it was telling us Game of the Year. Cyberpunk still a year away from development, and they're already trying to cancel it for transphobia or whatever.
I guess they are. Yeah,
from day one, they've been saying no, Cyberpunk bad, Last of Us good from day one.
But the developer has so much credibility with the international video game industry, the fan base across the world. CD Projekt Red has credibility that Naughty Dog can't even touch with their best days as a developer.
But it's with their fans, not necessarily with the media. I will say that
the fans, not the industry.
I will say, I think for the most part, most of the media is on board with Cyberpunk, but there is an active section of games journalists that do want to see it fail.
They absolutely do. Absolutely.
Poland too based for them. They're just like, get rid of
but I mean, at the end of the day, like, IGN has a fucking Cyberpunk theme up on its website right now. Like, a lot of the mainstream media is down with what CD Projekt Red is doing, as much as CD Projekt Red wants to give this air of, oh, we're away from all that. We're just the gamers game developer.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on with the media as well. But as far as Naughty Dog goes, congratulations, Neil Druckmann, from going from vice president to co-president, which sounds like it's exactly the same thing, has exactly the same responsibilities, and just as an empty virtue signal, like what their fucking game is. So
Absolutely.
I give it like 2 years before. What's the president's name? Evan Wells.
Yeah.
I give it 2 years before he's out of the company. I guarantee.
Evan Wells didn't kill himself.
I was gonna say he's gonna. Neil Druckmann's gonna Kamala Harris him. Huh?
No, I'm willing to bet you any amount of money that's where that's going, because that seems to be that Neil Druckmann's path is get to a level in the company and the person around him gets kicked out.
Everybody out.
Amy Hennig and Bruce Straley, and Evan, you're next.
Real quick before Ryan says, speaking of video games, record crowd here for the Saturday podcast. Thank you guys, 1,200 people here. We do this show every Saturday at the same time. We've got some guests lined up in the future. Can you announce anything yet, Ryan, for next week?
So next week, Yellow Flash is lined up to be on with us, so that should be awesome.
Yes.
You may know his bigger channel, Yellow Flash 2. But yeah, Yellow Flash will be on here. So that'll be really fun talking to him. So we should have him on next week.
And we're going to work on having guests every week. And we're going to continue to develop this show and expand this show. So thank you guys for the support. We appreciate it so much. Like the video.
Yeah, if you're like me and you forgot to hit the like button until just now, now's the time.
But yeah, so that's, Geeks and Gamers doesn't talk about video games, though, ever.
I don't care. Says
we spent a lot of this episode talking about movies. To be fair,
That's true.
I don't care. Says what with the guy staring at himself on the top right. Mark, you staring at yourself?
At myself? In the camera?
I don't know. I'm just answering a question from chat.
I don't know, but all four of you are on the same screen that I'm in. So in that respect, yeah, I can see myself pretty much all the time.
There's an admission. Let's hit a couple super chats, guys. Chris Arcel, you guys have been so supportive. Thank you so much. We will get to all the super chats at some point. Hey, everyone. Glad to be here and off work to watch this. Keep up the great content. Thank you, Christopher Arcella. Big supporter of so many channels. Appreciate that, man.
Yes.
Putin's Power Squat for $2. Young Clint Eastwood would have been a perfect solid Snake.
Well, what about his son? His son looks just like him. Scott.
Yeah, his son would be a great one. Is it Scott Eastwood? Yeah.
Does Scott have the chops though?
I don't know if he has the acting ability. I've never really seen him in anything.
Last thing I saw him in was that role in Suicide Squad. That was
the voice though. David Hayter always said the voice was supposed to be a cross between Snake Plissken from Escape from New York and old Clint Eastwood, or like young Clint Eastwood.
I know a lot of people have brought it up, and I do think Carl Urban would be a fantastic.
I think Carl Urban, he would be fantastic. I would agree with that. Yeah.
His Dread voice is basically perfect.
His Dread voice. God, Dread. He actually posted on Twitter the other day, and that I replied to it like, dude, come on, tell me there's another Dread coming.
Honestly, if they kickstarted another Dread movie, I'd be in for like $100, like immediately.
Oh yeah, I'd definitely put some bread up.
Somebody said Daniel Kibblesmith is Snake.
I almost think that with the character like
husband, his new novel.
I think that with a character like Snake, I think that whoever they get, it's going to look like Snake because the bandana, the eye patch is so like iconic, and like he's going to look
like.
Snake
never had the eye patch. I mean, he had like the robotic eye patch that wasn't actually covering up an eye and 4, but for the most part, Snake is the one with 2 eyes visible.
I guess that's true. I don't know.
Big Boss has the patch.
Big Boss, yeah. I think that either way, it's going to look like him. In the same way that fucking Tom Holland, like that picture that we saw of Tom Holland, it looks like Nathan Drake.
I don't know.
The design of the character. Tom Holland still looks young, but I don't think anyone believes that he's going to be able to capture the gravitas of a Nathan Drake. Do you know what I mean? So that's really what it's about, is the swagger and the voice to me for Snake.
I never understood that Tom Holland being cast as Nathan Drake. That doesn't make sense.
Zero sense.
He looks like Peter Parker wearing Nathan Drake cosplay.
Yeah, he doesn't look anything. Yeah, he doesn't look anything like him.
Whenever someone says the word swagger, I just think of the Miles Morales review.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Like 90% of the comments of my Miles Morales review were talking about swagger.
All right, let's get back to this. Blue-Eyed Scorpio for $1.99. Brie Larson as Snake.
I'd see the movie then.
Paulie D for $3.49. Terminator 2 has done so much better.
Then Terminator 3, agreed.
Then Terminator 1, you know what the fuck they're talking about.
No.
Christoph's the Polish guy for 50 Polish money. Jeremy, you never expressed your opinions on Nolan's Tenet. I loved it. Also, I suggest you guys look up the fact that the Obi-Wan show was supposed to have Darth Crate before Kennedy got involved again.
Oh, don't get me started.
We've actually did a video on this channel about that.
I have talked about Tenet on several live streams like Friday Night Tights and everything like that. But I enjoyed Tenet. I do think it's probably one of my least favorite Christopher Nolan movies, but it's also one of these movies that it takes a lot. Like I've seen it twice. I think
you have to watch it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I mean it's one of these movies. It's got so many layers, and there's so many. It is a fascinating what he does in this movie with time, and it's a lot to process. It's a lot. I mean, I think like people think Inception's confusing, but Tenet is next level shit, and so it's coming out pretty soon on Blu-ray. So I'll be obviously watching it many times. But yeah, I enjoyed it. But at this point, as it stands, 2 viewings in, it's one of my least favorite Christopher Nolan movies, which it's not a bad thing because I love all of his movies, but I put it on the bottom of the bottom half for sure right now.
I honestly, I felt like it's one of his best. I think like and I'm talking about one of his best when they're speaking about the movies that he does that deals with chronologically misplaced film, like the parts of it aren't necessarily in order, like with Memento, and then coming into Inception, and now this one. I feel like it's just a really sophisticated movie. You have to watch it multiple times. It's going to be one of those movies that by the 5th watching, you get a better grasp on what really the message of the story and the narrative are.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
It's Nolan. It's why he's my favorite director, because you just have to watch these movies multiple times to kind of grasp everything. So I'm looking forward to watching it more.
There you go. Geeky Pixie for $5. Toby is geeky. Peter Andrew is the sassy Spider-Man, and Tom Holland is just an Iron Man sidekick. Thank you, Geeky Pixie. Appreciate that. David S for $2. Geeks and Gamers Carl Urban as Snake. There you go. A lot of people on board with that. Paulie D for $2.29. Last of Us was a great story that needed no follow-up. And I agree. And if you're going to follow it up, don't just massacre the first one. Zach Richmond for $5. Hey guys, loving the show today. What are your thoughts on Hudson and Dara leaving BioWare this week? We actually talked about that and covered it earlier in the podcast. So you can either rewind. We may end up clipping it as well.
Yeah, we're going to clip, different segments of topics we talked about and re-upload them to between here and the Gaming with Geeks channel. We'll be uploading a lot of clips. So you guys stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe to Gaming with Geeks because we're going to be doing a lot more with that channel in the future as well. We got a lot of things in the works. And also, again, since we have, over 1,000 people watching us, go follow us over on Twitch, geeks_and_gamers. That's where we do a lot of live streams, doing our team stream tomorrow with Mario Kart. And we'll have a lot of Call of Duty, a lot of Cyberpunk coming up, and other games as well. So we'll see you guys over there.
Yep. Fine Castle IE for €5. Love how Naughty Dog won Studio of the Year, while ID Software was literally memeing with both their and Nintendo communities during the Doom Animal Crossing launch.
id Software, but it's a better company.
I really love CDPRs on Twitter, like their Cyberpunk account, like the people they reply to and like how they reply as well. Like when they replied to Sasha Grave, the winky face, I'm like, you guys deserve every fucking dollar you get.
I feel sorry for their Twitter person after that last delay, though. Like the guy or girl running their Twitter was probably just like, "Oh, guys, you're fucking serious." I told someone it was definitely coming out yesterday.
That's true. Bernard Berger for $2. Call of Duty Cold War feels like I'm playing Infinite Warfare.
Yikes.
Considering you can't do double jumps and shit, I don't really understand.
That's harsh. I mean, I do not agree. I do understand that a lot of people aren't digging this game, and I kind of chalk that up to, like I said, I don't mean to be dismissive about it, but it's Call of Duty. I can't remember a Call of Duty since Black Ops 2 that really had universal praise. And that's speaking on how I was on the opposite side of the praise after Black Ops 2 all the way up until, I guess, Modern Warfare last year. I really didn't like a lot of these games, and it clearly had their fan base. But Cold War, Infinite Warfare, no, I can't get on board with that one at all.
I liked Modern Warfare, but I see a lot of people using the Modern Warfare as better argument, and they bring up a lot of points. You go, well, a lot of the stuff they're saying wasn't in the game at launch.
Yes, and we had that discussion last night. You and I did. I just think, like, especially hit detection is better on Modern Warfare. I just think I don't think that can be disputed. But now you bring everything else into it, and there's a ton of guns, there's a ton of maps, there's a ton of modes, and I do think Warzone is the thing that really. And if I'm wrong, let me know. But I think Warzone's really what elevated Modern Warfare and took it to the next level for a lot of people, and got the sales to take off, and just got the accessibility of that game to the next level. And you're judging a game that's just releasing on a game that's been fully fleshed out and all of the updates and everything. So I think got to give it some time.
Yeah, it'll improve. It'll improve over time.
I still admit it's shipped with subpar maps and guns, in my opinion. But
yeah, and I mean they really, Cold War. It's a different developer, right? So it's inherently going to be a little bit of a different style of game. And like I've been most of us all here have agreed, it's more of an arcade style shooter than Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare is more of closer to a simulation style shooter when it comes to how the weapons actually react when you're firing, and how everything is synced in together. So
from fucking throwing grenades and almost everything.
Throwing is terrible. Oh my god!
See, I don't think it's that bad.
Oh, it's terrible.
Maybe I don't mind. Well, so the idea of it hitting the person, I know that's what Uche is mad about. The fact that all his flashbangs hit somebody else. Fucking get
Why
him.
do I keep flashbanging myself every single time?
Every time we play with Uche, he's like, why do I keep flashbanging myself?
But I think the mechanic, it takes really fucking long that's the only thing that takes a long time to do in Black Ops is throw a grenade. I don't know why the animation takes so long to grab it and actually throw it, but it does drive me crazy compared to Modern Warfare. But it's just different game.
That doesn't bother me.
I rely a lot more on grenades than you, Lethal. Sometimes that's the only way to get any kills. Geeky Pixie for $2. Last was 2 in my experience. It's a 5 of 10 for me. I think I think 4 or 5 is a reasonable score for it based on what it does do well and also what it destroys. John Matrix for $2.99 with a thumbs up. What's up, John? Thanks for the support, buddy. Appreciate seeing you here in the stream. Bernard Berger for $2. So people like The Last of Us 2 are the far left. Lol.
Oh, don't know about that.
I don't know, but I think the ones that are obsessed with identity politics, the ones that scream about shipping, the ones that go and make fan cams about Ellie and Abby, these fucking weirdos, that's who it is. Whether they're all far left or not, I don't think that's the case. But
see, the fan cam stuff, you know how people say, oh, you got pronouns in your bio, you don't count. That's me with fan cams. You post fan cams, you don't count.
There's a fan cam of me out there somewhere. I don't mind that one.
Well, I don't think you count.
I know. Paulie D for $5.49. Real question. Do you think Naughty Dog staff still thinks Last of Us 2 is actually great? Or do you think they have to support the brand and be company men?
Got to support the brand, I think.
It's probably a little of both.
I would imagine most of them there are very on board with what they're doing and have been very indoctrinated and shit. The ones that are still there, that didn't quit. That's kind of how I feel about it. I'm sure there's some people there that realize, the reaction, that aren't completely living in a bubble. Mr. X CLP for 2,500 something, whatever CLP is. I know it's only personal experience. All my normie friends ate Last of Us 2 up, similar to what happened with The Last Jedi. That's their target audience. I agree. That is like the crossover. It really is. There are people that actually like it. So they're all fucking weirdos, but what are you gonna do? Philip Morris
are weird.
They are. Philip Morrison for New Zealand, $5. Have you talked about the Polygon article with Cyberpunk 2077? How butthurt about how successful it will be? Well, we haven't talked about that, but I think that is actually a good point. So we talked about earlier how Cyberpunk is essentially the most hyped game in recent memory for virtually everyone here. It has a lot to live up to, but there's also some weird members of the media, some woke members of the media who have an agenda that have been targeting this since day one, that want to make everything into a controversy. And that's exactly what we're seeing in the lead up to Cyberpunk 2077. Now, I have this article here from Polygon. I'm using the Wayback Machine because fuck these people. I'm not going to give her any clicks. It sucks that Cyberpunk 2077's edgelord marketing worked so well. CD Projekt Red sure has got everybody talking about this game. Now, this is written by Stacey Henley. I wanted to know more about.
Oh God!
I wanted to know more about her, her. So I went to her profile. Stacey Henley, right there. Ironically, right before she writes this article, she has this to say: "I have no issue with influencers getting Cyberpunk gear or any of the game's gear for that matter. The issue is code are only as finite as the publishers say they are. Influencers getting codes isn't a problem. It's that reviewers and guide writers aren't." And then later on,
but she ain't no reviewer.
What's the difference between an influencer and a reviewer, other than the fact that you've got a shitty company whose website you post your stuff on?
And then after she posts her article, I'm not reviewing Cyberpunk 2077. I would have liked to have, but I get why I'm not on it. Hoping to have at least one feature on it post-launch, though. So she's a little butthurt about not getting any codes. How shocking that someone with 686 now followers didn't get a code for Cyberpunk 2077.
Hey, go back to that tweet because there's a response under there that's hilarious.
It's looking better than your career after that article.
No. The one where she said she's not going to review it. Somebody said, "I see Stacy, but I hear Karen."
Yeah, that is true. But these are the people that are complaining about this. And it goes on and brings up the same shit that we've heard time after time. Basically, what they're saying is they're marketing to the edgy crowd, when in reality, what they mean to say is they're marketing it to normal people. They're marketing it to people that aren't these nut jobs, that don't look at everything and get offended over identity politics. This is the most inclusive game that has been seen maybe ever, with what you can do with your character and how you can play this game whatever way you want. But that's not enough for these people. They're still bringing up this poster, right? Mix it up with the massive penis.
It's a glorious penis.
That's a BBC right there.
She complains that you could see the veins in it.
Well, newsflash about hard penises. That's a thing. You can see veins.
And Mark knows all about hard penises.
All about hard penises.
Yep. She brings up the "did you assume my gender" joke, saying that she's basically saying they're whistling to the alt-right. Again, that's what this entire narrative has been about, because Cyberpunk, the way it has been marketed, they are trying to get more in tune with their audience. Which, again, the normal audience. What do you guys make all this bullshit?
This is what I was saying before. Like, they were going hard, Last of Us game of the year. The game's not even out. But this isn't even out. They're bringing up posters in a game with no context, trying to say it's transphobic. They completely ignore the fact that the creator of Cyberpunk, not just the video game, but the creator of Cyberpunk, who, surprise, is a black man who comes out and says, "Dude, shut the fuck up. Like, this is my story. How dare you come in here and tell me how I got to portray my stuff?"
Yep.
I was really glad to hear Michael Pondsmith,
that's his name,
talk about how he's sick and tired of people feeling like they got to be offended for him. A lot of the people who are rallying against Cyberpunk, like our resident SJW here, a lot of them had no idea that the person who created Cyberpunk is a black guy. A lot of them have no idea that the person who created Cyberpunk has been working with CD Projekt Red to create the game, has been giving them his time as a consultant and helping them make sure that all the lore is lined up with how the game is being structured. And these things are totally a part of the world that he created. CD Projekt Red didn't just come up with an idea to do something like that out of thin air. They actually have a lore that backs up a lot of the visual style that is included in the game, and they're doing his creation as much justice as one could possibly expect when you talk about respecting, you know, the core of the game's principles. This was a tabletop game before it was ever considered to be a video game, and CD Projekt Red is bringing that to life. So people who don't understand the actual history of the game shouldn't really be concerned with complaining about visual cues that they don't seem to like. Like, that's bullshit to me.
Well, yeah, it's just like anything else. They're so busy being mad that they can't even understand that they're battling against something they've claimed that they've wanted the whole time. Because they're not really interested in these things. They're not interested in black voices mattering. Because if you were, then you would be appreciative that there's a black man who's behind this entire
man's creation being brought to the world, and was likely going to be the biggest game of like Ryan said, the most recent memory. This is going to be, I mean, honestly, this is going to be as big as
GTA. It's going to be GTA
as Witcher 3. Like, Witcher 3. By and large, is considered one of the best games of the last at least decade.
Yeah,
and this is
GTA sell like Grand Theft Auto. The most recent GTA is still one of the most viewed games on Twitch. It's absolutely insane how many copies. And Cyberpunk is going to be right there. Could it even could it surpass GTA in some ways? Possibly. I mean, but the fact that it's even in that discussion just kind of shows how big this is, because regardless of your opinion of GTA, I'm not the biggest GTA fan myself, but you can't deny how huge those games are. I mean, those are all time,
those are system sellers. That's what those are
generational games. And this game is taking things to, and I think Ryan said it best. I mean, this is probably, if you really want to get into the representation side of things and the inclusion side of things, like, this is probably the most diverse game you can find.
It lets you operate however the fuck you want. You could be a trans, you could be a non-binary, you could be a male, a female. I mean, shoot, can you imagine Big Oots with some dreads and some titties just boom, boom, blah, blah. That might be my character. That might be what I do.
You're gonna have to imagine it.
You even have Abby in the game if you want.
I can't wait to see what the hell Lethal's going to create. I can't wait to see that. That's gonna be a treat right there.
You pretty much saw my character with the black dude that they got in the early trailers and stuff that they showed. I'm gonna be a kingpin motherfucker in mine. Y'all just watch. I'm gonna be selling spice all over the galaxy.
The thing is, the reason that Cyberpunk is so hyped, the reason that so many people are talking about it, is not because they make fun of trans people or whatever this person is saying. It's not because she even says they're appealing to Elon Musk fanboys. The reason that it's so hyped is because Witcher 3 was an incredible success. That is the reason. Witcher 3 was incredible, and they've been working on this game and hyping this game since then. That is why
Witcher 3 even came out too.
Yeah,
they started development in 2012. 2012, I think they started development on this. As soon as Witcher 3 came out, people loved it, and then they said, "Just wait to what we have in store for you next." CD Projekt Red is respected by a lot of people because of what they've done before. That is why people are excited, not because they're appealing to edgy goth kids, as Jeremy would say, but because they're appealing to everyone.
Yeah, I really did. I got hammered on that one video. That's probably the worst video I've made on this channel, where I tried to call them out for pandering, and I got roasted pretty bad on it. Even though Geeks and Gamers is a echo chamber and never disagrees with Jeremy, but I got roasted on that video pretty bad. People still bring that video up to this day.
You get pulled on to like Smudcast for it or something like that, or one of the. Or South Podcast?
Southpaw. Yeah, Southpaw. I
saw that up and I was like, oh my God, Jeremy, I wish you'd run it by me before you posted that video.
Yeah. I went on there.
These guys really have an unbelievable amount of goodwill from the fans. I mean, can you think of another game where you wouldn't lose some steam if you had delayed the game almost a year?
Marvel's Avengers.
Well, listen, I think that there are some people that have blinders on concerning CD Projekt Red. Regardless of what they do, they're the gold standard. I think there's a little bit of that out there. I think there's room for criticism for a couple of things they've said, a couple of things they didn't follow up on, and how they've handled this entire situation. And
you talking about the Twitter mix-up with the we're no more delays, and then boom, they delay it.
I'm not specifically talking about that, but I am talking about the way they handle the delay, the fact that they promised it to so many people, and the fact that they waited that long. The fact that I'm not quite sure that this game is actually ready or as ready as they want it to be on December 10th, or if it's a more so they kind of have to put it out now. Regardless of whether they have it as how they wanted it to handle it, I don't know if their stock can handle another thing like we saw with that third delay that they had. I think there's some chinks in CDPR's armor, but I do think that they are by far and away the most consumer-friendly and the best developer out there right now, and the ones that keep in mind what fans actually want.
Yeah.
Well, I think like some of their problems, I think, are also rooted in the fact that they're independently publishing this game. Even for Witcher 3, they were working, I think, more closely with Warner Brothers Interactive for actually getting the game across the finish line. And I think they're running into some pipeline issues with like top level decision making to what's actually coming out on social media as far as news goes. And I still hold firm that like their biggest mistake, I think, was the second delay just being until November, and maybe even the third delay just being until December. I think if they knew that they weren't going to hit that September release date, again, kick the can down the road like 6 months to a year, give yourself some time to really fix those problems. And I'm willing to bet a lot of it had to do with the fact that they're pretty much all working from home right now, which I'm sure was a big change to their workflow that they've been doing for the last several years on this game. But I don't know. I think the PC version is probably still going to turn out quite well. I think especially the base level consoles, though, like launch PS4 and Xbox One, not even Xbox One S, will be the ones that have the biggest issues, because they haven't even shown any of the base level console footage yet at all. Like we have no idea how
some of it got leaked.
Oh, really? Yeah. It's probably pretty rough. But I mean, the good news is they're doing a free upgrade program. So if you buy Cyberpunk on PS4 or Xbox One now and it's trash, you'll get your Xbox Series X or PS5 version for free. So
yeah, whenever I get a fucking PlayStation 5.
I actually got a question because I got the PC version and the PS4 version pre-ordered. Can I cancel the PS4 pre-order?
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass, though. I did it for Last of Us 2. Get on the phone like immediately after the podcast ends, and you might have it canceled by Thursday.
Yeah, because I got to get that canceled, because I think I pre-ordered like the I didn't get the jacket one. I think I got just the regular one, but I need to get that handled. Yeah, because I'm not going to play it on PS4. I'm going to play it all on PC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this game, Ryan, has been, following this pretty closely too. But if this game doesn't work good upon release, it's going to be massive. I mean, this is the problem. This is the risk you run when you have this much hype. I can't imagine how big the fallout will be.
If you got a good PC, shit, you're gonna be all right.
I got PS5.
It's the PS4 and the
PS5.
Yeah, the PS5 will be running the PS4 version for at least the first part of the year, because the PS5 and Xbox Series X like native versions aren't coming out until later. But your save progress will carry over and you'll get that upgrade for free. Just know that if it doesn't look super impressive and like a next-gen game when you're playing it next week on a PS5, it's because you're playing a PS4 game in a backwards compatibility mode. You're not really playing a native PS4 game. That being said, Ghost of Tsushima on PS5 looks fucking incredible. So,
it really does. Yeah. It does look amazing. I think that, and that's the problem, is that the vast majority of players are going to have it on PS4 and Xbox, because it's really hard to get any next-gen console right now, bottom line.
Yeah, and I still know people who played Witcher 3 for like 6 hours on PS4 and were like, this game sucks because it kind of runs like trash on PS4. But, I mean, other people pushed through that poor performance and got to the good writing in Witcher 3 and still loved it. But I find that it's almost a 100% rule that anyone who tells me they hated Witcher 3 played it on a console. It may be a correlation, not causation thing, but I think it has something to do with it because that game looks a lot better when it's running at a decent frame rate.
Oh man, on PC, I mean, it still looks like one of the best games out on PC if you play it on high on its 4K settings, which I do. So it held up well for me, and then from start to finish, it was completely, I was completely engrossed in the gameplay and the storytelling. I expect the same with Cyberpunk, and I'm a huge I love this kind of environment, like that Cyberpunk style. I love that. I love like movies like Akira. It kind of follows in that vein. I mean, I really, really enjoy having something like that to play, and it's gonna be incredible. I think even if it's not perfect, I don't expect the game to be perfect, but I know that from a story aspect, it's gonna be damn near as close as you can get.
The story and the choices available to you, I think, are going to be the big selling points for the game. I think you're only setting yourself up to be disappointed by Cyberpunk if you're expecting an action game. If you're expecting it to be like a first-person shooter like Doom Eternal, or
not going to be
even a game like Grand Theft Auto where like every single mission will have you firing guns or chasing in cars, it's probably not going to be that. Think more along the lines of like a Fallout game, and I think you'll be really impressed, as opposed to thinking it's going to be GTA and being slightly disappointed. But
I mean, there were some people who had access to the first 16 hours.
And
they said they didn't even shoot a weapon until like 6 to 8 hours in. So,
I think there's going to be a lot of people that get like
pissed off because of that.
A lot of people are going to probably be blindsided by that a little bit, thinking, "Wow, I thought I was going to be playing an action game." Well, you're playing the prologue, and the prologue doesn't lend itself to just action. It's going to have a lot of world building to do from the initial start of the storyline. So,
those impressions. They were also saying that you can go looking for trouble if you want to, but the main path of the story doesn't immediately throw you into, oh yeah, now kill all these gangsters. It's more like deal with these gangsters however you want, talk to them, hack their computers, or kill them all. But you're not like forced to do any of that.
But you're pretty weak in the beginning. You really have to level up your guys.
So that's the thing. So jumping into a fight might not be a good call.
Exactly. What about you, Lethal? What do you think about all this shit?
I'm just looking forward to playing the game.
Yeah.
Well, there it is.
Here.
Well, and so is everyone. And December 10th or December 9th, I guess, is really when we're going to actually get it.
7 p.m. Eastern is when it's launching. So, Ryan, for you, it's probably going to be 4 p.m. on December 9th.
Is Lethal going to get early access? That's what I'm
curious. No, he's not.
No, because it's worldwide.
Same time.
Okay.
Yeah,
so it won't be like Call of Duty or it won't be like Call of Duty where he was ranked up.
He was already level 35.
He was almost like a first prestige, and then every time we played with him, all the other people on the team was like, "Look at this fucking virgin."
Jeremy, for you, it'll be 6 p.m. So dinner time, your time. And for me, it's 7.
And again, across all of our channels, whether it's our personal channels or the Geeks and Gamers channels, we're gonna have a ton of coverage of this game. It's gonna be wall-to-wall coverage. We'll be utilizing Gaming with Geeks as well. So, like I said, stay tuned to that channel and this one and Twitch, all over the place. It's gonna be fun.
All right. Well, with that being said, Cyberpunk is coming, and I guess we'll see if the journalists will spurg out more when it eventually releases. Anthony Arribas for $4.99. Yo, just want to drop by and say what's up to the squad. What's up, Anthony Arribas? Thanks for hanging out, man. Appreciate the super chat. To Tim 505 for $5. Do you hear Samus might be in Fortnite? I did hear that.
I mean, we talked
in Fortnite.
Samus. But
listen, I can't say I'm a fucking big Nintendo fan, but I always heard Samus. So I after you called me out on Friday Night Tights, I decided to look into it a little bit.
Samus.
In most media, Samus's name is pronounced as Samus. However, in Brawl, the announcer says Samus. The change in pronunciation is consistent with the way Samus is pronounced in Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. So there is debate over this in most
media.
Either way, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Either way,
it's fucking Elliot.
It's Samus. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't have a strong opinion on Fortnite. It's a huge game. People love it. If more characters are involved with it, that's perfectly fine with me. I guess isn't the Mando in it right now? something to do with their baby Yoda or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, it's a huge game. The other day I was looking on Twitch, and I think there was 172,000 people watching Fortnite, which is just fucking stupid. And while it's not my cup of tea, I have no problem with Fortnite being a thing. It is what it is. It's all good. And if Samus is in it, that's cool. Doesn't bother me one way or the other.
Fortnite's it's like as much a marketing platform as it is a video game. So like don't be shocked by anyone showing up in Fortnite. Like Kratos is in there. I was hearing some stuff about Master.
Wait a minute, Kratos is in Fortnite?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you were not seeing all that? That was like all over Twitter
yesterday. Can you rip motherfuckers' heads off and fuck their face?
No, because it's fucking Fortnite, Jeremy.
Oh, because if you could, I'll play that shit right now.
No, but you can floss dance as fucking Kratos, though. So that's a thing which exists in this world. Thank you, Epic.
And also literally explaining how the Emperor came back for Rise of Skywalker.
Plug the pothole for Rise of
Skywalker. That was ridiculous.
T. Louis 2 for $5. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that just shows how checked out on Fortnite I am. I had no idea Kratos was in it. I know nothing about Fortnite.
I couldn't care less about Fortnite.
Oh, that's cringe. I did not know that. But you know, whatever. Let that's cool. It's just that's an odd character. Like that to me, that kind of goes into.
Is it any weirder than John Wick being a playable character in Fortnite?
Wait a minute, is John Wick a playable character?
That was like one of the first big like crossover characters. They had John Wick as a playable character in Fortnite. So.
It's like Batman.
It's like a character in like a hard R-rated series of action movies with tons of blood in a game where you're basically shooting fucking Nerf guns at each other while building little castles.
I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, again, if it works, it works for the game. I did not know these things, but okay, that's cool.
Yeah, like every DC character, every Marvel character is in it as well. T. Louis 2 for $5. Cuckman directs Witcher 4. Geralt killed by barmaid after saving her life. Ciri and Yennefer team up with her to combat the patriarchy. Game of the year 2024, maybe. Christopher Arcella for $5 to get on video game topic. Are any of you on the panel into fighting games? If so, what's your favorite?
I'm a Mortal Kombat guy. I stream it from time to time as well on Twitch.
I'm all out Street Fighter 2, specifically the version that DSP won his or came in the top 3 in.
Street Fighter 5 for me. For me, that Street Fighter's fighting mechanics will always be like the standard of fighting mechanics. Like they have it set up the right way. Everybody else is just kind of rolling off of what they did.
I'm don't like any new age fighting games outside of I'll play Smash casually, but back in the day, Soul Calibur. For me, Mortal Kombat 3 was my favorite, and I haven't really played many in recent years. I loved Mortal Kombat 3.
You get it. Mortal Kombat 2 is the best Mortal Kombat they ever made.
Yeah, and obviously Street Fighter back in the day was huge. But yeah, Soul Calibur, I love the Soul Calibur games. Especially, I love the Dreamcast version of Soul Calibur. Love the Dreamcast version. Mm-hmm. You know, and I played the some more recent Soul Caliburs, but that's my extent to fighting games. Never been the biggest fighting game fan, but back in the day I played enough. I was never an expert at them or anything.
Jeremy, you can get them on GOG. Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3,
all these games?
Yes.
Damn.
How long has GOG even been? You have
GOG.
You have 1,100 games.
Yeah, that's about right. Oh, though 1,155. That's all games on all platforms, including PlayStation.
These are your games.
Yeah. This is not like he's looking to buy them. He owns all of these.
So the next time someone says Geeks and Gamers doesn't have gamers, this is all you need to
did you link like your Steam or something to that?
No, but I can click on my Steam games by going right there. So these games I have on Steam.
Shit.
These games I have on
now. It almost looks like my porn collection.
For real.
I don't have very many on Uplay. These are the Uplay games I have.
Oh, so you just okay. You know what? I think I got more games than you then, because I didn't know you linked those from your other stuff.
He does what he's saying.
All of them.
That's the TOGs.
All I was saying though is that Jeremy, you can get Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3, and Mortal Kombat 4 on GOG.
Wow. That's pretty
But
impressive.
Street Fighter 4 would be my answer. I think the times that I would be playing Street Fighter 4 with like my buddies from Toronto was probably some of the best times I've ever had with the video game. Always loser passes the controller off, and man, friends and rivalries were made.
Has there ever been a street fight in Toronto?
I imagine so, yeah.
That didn't involve protesting the G20 summit or something?
Okay, now you're throwing in modifiers that might change my answer. I don't know. Hey,
All right.
hockey fights count if they spill out into the street.
Britain's Power Fight for €5. I love cyberpunk genre. Really looking forward to 2077 and Blade Runner. It's one of my favorite movies ever. You guys have any recommendations in the genre? Cyberpunk 2077.
The first two Ghost in the Shell films, and I hear Standalone Complex is good, but I haven't seen it. There's solid cyberpunk there, though. Akira, again, I'm mostly suggesting anime, I suppose. Ghost Runner, the game that I did a review of a couple weeks ago. It's awesome. If you're looking for a game to like hype you up for cyberpunk, I really recommend Ghost Runner. It's $30 and it's great.
Razor Crest for $5. Ryan proves women can grow facial hair. Keep up the great work, guys. Geeks and gamers forever. Well, Razor Crest, you got your ass blown up. So R.I.P. Razor Crest. Fuck you.
When I saw that one coming, I couldn't stop laughing.
I was wondering why you were laughing. Like,
yeah, that's what I was
laughing. Mr. J for $10. Hoping for a Ciri Easter egg based on the scene when Ciri described the world of Cyberpunk to Geralt in Witcher 3. Heard a lot of that. There's probably going to be a little Easter egg in there. I have heard that, so be on the lookout.
Have you gone back and heard what she said?
No.
I looked at it like last month just out of sheer curiosity, and like it 100% she's describing Cyberpunk like no other way.
That's interesting. Demogenai for $2. Hey, Lethal, will you be getting the Subverse game?
I don't have Steam. I don't have Steam. I was talking about it on my stream just before. I think that's where he saw it. I don't have Steam, so I'll live curiously through Mark.
I don't think I'm gonna have the time to cover Subverse because I don't think I will be able to make a video for it for the channel. Because I
don't think anyone's expecting a video. I think people just want to see. This is
a sci-fi porn RPG. Everybody, if you know what Subverse is, so it's definitely up Lethal's alley. I'm not sure if I'll find the time for it though.
Because I'm really into sci-fi.
Yeah. Mr. J for another $5. First order of Cyberpunk business. Set up gaming character as soon as I can. Explore. And then X amount of hours later, get back to the story. Yeah, they say it's pretty free. You know, it's pretty free. You can kind of do whatever you want. They did say that shit can have repercussions. So if you're exploring and you fucking accidentally drive your car and kill some random person, you ain't coming back. You might lose the ability to use that aspect of that quest. So they did talk about that a little bit.
AMC, I mean, and I know we want to touch on real quick. We do want to talk about the Call of Duty season 1 delay.
We can talk about Brie Larson real quick too.
Oh fuck! Let's talk. Can we talk about
really quick? Fat Steven Seagal beat up Ryan Johnson for Canadian $2. Fortnite ass to mouth ripped off Warzone bounty system. Fortnite ATM ripped off Warzone bounty system.
At the moment is
he means that. I always say ass to mouth when I see ATM.
I thought here. The best thing about that is the ass to mouth thing is whenever I made a video praising Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka, that's all the comments were. People were like, "You never go ass to mouth."
Oh, she answered that whole discussion with saying you can sometimes go ass.
No, I understand that, but it starts out with "you never go," and then she's like, "Well, sometimes."
Geeky Pixie for $2. I love Soul Calibur 5 and 6. I main Taki.
Yeah, Soul Calibur 6 cool. I do like that one. That one's cool.
And then Chris Arcella for $5. When Mark showed his video game collection, he's like, "Get on my level, noobs." Basically,
to be fair, I got a hell of a lot of those in bundles and have not had time to play like 70% of them, which is what makes me a true PC gamer. If you don't have a giant collection of either like Steam or GOG games that you're never going to have time to play, you're not there yet.
Show us your backlog, bitch.
All right. And now, what Jeremy wanted to get into here is basically the only video game he ever plays anymore, which is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Now, we were supposed to have the big season 1, the first season of Call of Duty Cold War coming up, and it has been delayed, which overall is probably a good thing. Lethal, what are the details on that?
Well, it was actually going to come out the same day as Cyberpunk's launch. So it looks like they kind of maybe bitched out a little bit, which is probably a good thing to do. They're giving it 10 days before it comes out. There's going to be an update in like 3-4 days from now, which they're saying is going to do like just general patches and get ready for the big update and the big integration. Because remember, this season's also going to give us a new Warzone map, and it's going to do the integration with Modern Warfare and Warzone. So it doesn't matter which game you're playing, you're going to be leveling up. And then whenever you're leveling up, you're going to be working towards the same battle pass and 1,000 season levels. And it was all set, ready to go. It all leaked. Everything, well, heaps of the stuff that we're getting leaked in advance. And there was a fair bit of hype around it. Like, you know, people, for the most part, were happy with some of the stuff we were getting, apart from the lack of zombie stuff. And then they came out this morning, well, my morning, and said, yep, no, it's been delayed by 10 days.
I mean, I think that delaying it 10 days might be, I mean, if the choice is to release it the same day as Cyberpunk or delay it 10 days, I think the best answer is to delay it 10 days. But I think the best answer is to release it a few days before Cyberpunk comes out. I think that's the best way you're going to get that crowd, because I feel like 10 days after Cyberpunk, if that's your main concern, people are going to be in the thick of Cyberpunk, and I don't see them moving away from it. So ultimately, if you're giving a good product, I think the product will speak for itself. But if you're fearing Cyberpunk, I don't think 10 days is going to change any of that. I think if anything, that's just going to have people more invested in that game. So, and
then they also said that before the season comes out, they're going to do another double XP and double weapon XP, which is pointless for someone like me that's maxed out at the moment. I'm like, well, that's just dead XP.
You can level up your other weapons.
Yeah, I can level up my weapons, or I could wait till the season starts and then use the XP that I'm getting from leveling up my weapons to work towards that as well. Time management. I think I don't think it's a good thing to do it, but for you guys, it's probably a decent move. But
yeah, you peasants.
I haven't even hit my first prestige yet. I'm like one game away.
I already hit mine, so I guess I can say something about it.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Week I've done a playthrough and a half of Demon Souls, so I have not prestige in Call of Duty Cold War. Play other video games, guys. Come on.
I've been playing Demon Souls 2, Mark. But listen, Cold War is fun. Cold War is really fun to just hop in and play a couple rounds. It really is. And the game released not too long ago. The fact that we have to wait 10 extra days for Season 1, it's not a big deal to me, especially because I still have Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I've barely started. I want to play Cyberpunk as soon as it comes out. And also I've got my PS5 with Miles Morales that I still want to play, and Demon Souls. So there's a lot going on right now, as there always is this time of the year. And I think pushing it, although it's disappointing for people that really want to play it, I think it's probably a good thing to make sure it stays really relevant for people and that people can get the most out of it. They don't have to choose whether to keep up with the hype and play Cyberpunk right now or take advantage of the start of the season.
Yeah, I agree with that. And like I said, like I feel like for the most part, the content that we do know is coming. I feel people that are playing the game are going to be pretty happy with it. I mean, Raid's coming back from Black Ops 2. That's always cool.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy about that. I love that map. So,
yeah, absolutely. Well, there you have it. We do have a couple super chats here. One super chat from Josh Nelson for $10. Where did this SJW agenda come from? I didn't start to notice this BS until Ghostbusters 2016, or were they always there? And because of social media, now they have a voice.
Comic, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know exactly where the source of it came from, but the first time that it really was prominently displayed in media for the masses is Ghostbusters 2016. That's really where it took things to the next level. So, and it's going to continue to be there for a while. I think that before everything happened in March, I feel like we were on a positive movement to kind of rid that garbage out of entertainment. Now, where we're heading, who knows? It's hard to tell.
The first time I saw it was, I can't remember what year it was, but it was to do with a Batgirl cover from DC Comics.
Yeah.
Pretty cool cover that had Joker, it was a reference to the Killing Joke, and it looked sinister, as all good Joker stuff should. And there was this huge huge backlash against it because it was not putting women in the best light. That was the first time I noticed it.
I guess for me, I mean, I don't know. I just kind of felt I don't think I can point to one particular situation where I can look at that and say that's when I first noticed, how the media was treating these types of things. Just because, I mean, coming up in the athletes world, we're always kind of constantly reminded that we got to be careful about things you say because you don't want your words to be twisted and misconstrued by the media. So we always kind of came into it with the understanding that the media will play to whatever their particular narrative is. And if you give them ammunition, then they're going to use it. And that always ends up being something that in the long term can work against you. So I don't know that I've ever really just looked at it. I now see where it can take away from people's enjoyment of certain medias because you hammer those kind of issues into people's, into their view, and they have to deal with it, regardless of whether they actually saw it the same way or not. That can be, actually a bad trend for a lot of people. But I've always had to kind of be cognizant of what I say to people about things.
Yep. Yeah. Hopefully, we'll continue to have good products, like Cyberpunk and other, companies that won't pander to this stuff, but just have to take it, one property at a time and see how it all works out.
Yeah. And speaking of properties and being infested with SJW garbage, and speaking of video games, the Game Awards is coming up. We're all really excited for it. When the games journalists get to crown what they feel are the most deserving games of the year in every genre. And one of the presenters, we couldn't be more excited for this, ladies and gentlemen, a YouTube star in the making, thanks to Jeremy helping her out. It's, of course, Brie Larson. The Game Awards the Game Awards is proud to welcome Brie Larson as a presenter live next Thursday during video games' biggest night. Now,
whatever.
Fuck yeah.
Like, well,
I've never jacked off to a game show awards before.
Gal Gadot's going to be there too, Lethal. So.
I know, dude. Anyone that knows me knows I love Gal. Gal's like
be a
my
marathon
goddess.
man.
I love Gal.
The thing is, this isn't, I guess it's not really surprising. She has been doing a lot of stuff with Nintendo lately. Jeremy talked about it, how even when she's not doing anything, like she's not being a bitch, she's not like talking about identity politics. She's literally just doing Nintendo commercials. She's like playing Fortnite or something, playing Animal Crossing. And it gets downvoted to hell because people hate her because of, what she's said in the past. And they're doing everything they can to kind of change her image and help her image. But right now, it just leaves a bad taste in people's mouth. Not exactly the taste that Lethal's looking to leave in hers, but a bad taste nonetheless when Brie Larson is brought to anything.
I want to give her my Grogu.
Oh, God.
Grogu.
That was good. Yeah, I mean, I pointed this out where, even when she's not pushing her nonsense, she's just a very unlikable person. And going back to the Nintendo videos where she was uploading, you look at the Nintendo videos when they are on message, when they're on point, the like to dislike ratio is insanely positive. Brie Larson was on point. She was on message on all of her Nintendo videos. She wasn't doing anything. She wasn't pushing any identity politics. She was literally pushing the message of Nintendo. And these videos were still getting ratio to hell. So what's the common denominator there? It's her. She's just not a likable person. She's a very unlikable person. Even these Nintendo fans that, Nintendo fans are a strange group of people, just like any fandom at Nintendo are definitely very, very strange. And the fact that she was on message of Nintendo, which is exactly what Nintendo fans want, and they still got bombed, just shows how unlikable she is. So
is it because she's unlikable, or is it because she already has a reputation that's just following her?
I mean, I think it's both. I mean, because a lot of these celebrities have said a lot of stupid shit over the course of time, but when they're independently, marketing something, that aura doesn't follow them. You know, a lot. Like Mark Hamill says insane shit every day on Twitter, but it doesn't, like, generally speaking, it does. He said a lot more.
Yeah.
A lot more than Brie Larson has ever said. And a lot more insane things and direct on point things. And even when Mark Hamill does things he doesn't talk about the politics, he doesn't get branded with that, because outside of Mark Hamill's politics, he's a likable guy when he's not talking politics. So I think it's just her being a very unlikable person, and it follows her. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Well, we've made the joke before, but I was saying we've all made the joke that we might actually see her hand an award to Neil Druckmann. And if that does happen, I've said this before, if that does happen, hand over my heart, I will screen cap it, print it, frame it, and I reckon I'm going to put it up there next to my Lord of the Rings thing above the Wonder Woman.
Well, the thing to keep in mind, though, is this is all virtual, so it's not going to be any people that are actually accepting awards. It's all going to be Zoom calls and shit.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
I didn't realize, like, this year's probably not going to be like the traditional awards show style that they had. It'll probably be more like the one they did with the guy from Community. Why am I blanking on his name?
Joel McHale.
Joel McHale, yeah, the one that he was hosting, where they were just doing it in like a basement, and it was like the most awkward thing that ever existed on the
internet. I'm pretty sure this is going to be very awkward. This is going to be very awkward.
Based on every one of her YouTube videos, I would imagine it will be extremely awkward, whether it's real or fake. At the end of the day, there's a lot of dislike for her. I don't know. Like, all the other like Gal Gadot doesn't really make sense. Like, I get they're promoting Wonder Woman 84, and there are oftentimes people that are not fucking real gamers or whatever, but at least they have something to do with something gaming wise. I don't know what Gal has anything to do with gaming right now. Tom Holland's playing Drake, like we talked about earlier.
Tom Holland's going to be there?
Tom Holland's one of the presenters as well, yeah.
Wow, so they're doing an all-female lineup.
Yes.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
And there is speculation that since she has been campaigning to play as Samus for so long, that maybe that's when they're gonna do the Fortnite announcement.
Yes.
Or maybe something else. So that would be see everyone's fucking heads explode if she becomes her.
I mean, let's face it though, like, ultimately the announcements are the reason anyone's going to be watching this. Like, or people watching, if we do a stream, people like us just shit on all the cringe, because like those are kind of the two reasons anyone watches the Game Awards: cringe and announcements and trailers and stuff. The big rumored announcements that like people are hoping for, that I think honestly it's more likely you'll be disappointed by not hearing, are Blue Point's Metal Gear Solid remake and a possible revival of the Silent Hills project that apparently PlayStation is behind for both of them. But
the Norman Reedus one.
Well, yeah, fucking Yang Ye has done like 5 videos on both of these things each, and like I think that it's much more likely that the big Metal Gear announcement is going to be Oscar Isaacs playing Solid Snake, because I think it was Jeff Keighley that announced that on Twitter, anyways. But I don't know. I think that this is probably going to be a pretty weak Game Awards as far as announcements and stuff go, just because of how the COOF affected production lines. So I don't think there's going to be tons of video game studios that are going to want to be showing gameplay trailers of videos that might not make it to the end of 2021 for release. Yeah. So, or we'll do the other thing that we see at like every E3 presentation, which is CGI trailers that have nothing to do with the actual game. And then a couple fanboys on either side being like, oh my God, that trailer for this game looks so amazing. When it's like, hey, dude, they showed nothing. Like what they showed has more in common with a Pixar movie than it does with a video game. It's just a pre-rendered trailer that gives you an idea of the tone, and that's it. So
yeah. I mean, that's what Johnny Silverhand was for Cyberpunk.
Yeah, well,
now people are like, wow, it doesn't look anything like this trailer.
Yeah, huge graphics downgrade. It's like, guys, you're comparing, like, you might as well be comparing a live action movie to the video game and being like, these graphics are nothing alike. It's like, yeah,
Puddlegate,
different medium, man.
Okay.
See, Puddlegate was actually the game compared to the game. It was just a different time of day, I think. And for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about there, that's the Spider-Man 2018 game. Puddles be looking better in an E3 trailer than it did when the gameplay trailer came out, which turned out to just kind of be like a whole lot of hype for nothing. But the big graphics, like the real graphics downgrades that people should be pissed about, are stuff like the original Watch Dogs. that was shown on a like high-end PC and then eventually released on PS4 and Xbox One looking like absolute trash. And people were like, why doesn't this game look anywhere near like the way you advertised it? And because they never said this is a target render, this isn't, they advertised that as the game that you would be buying. So a lot of people got pissed off. And yeah, I see people in the chats. That Rainbow Six was another big one.
Well,
Ubisoft
is Uche okay?
Hey, God damn it! Come on!
I was going to say Division. Do you remember when they did
Eyes
the
are
first Division
glazing
trailer?
over here. Like, what the fuck?
Do you remember when they did the first Division trailer, Mark?
I was just fucking with you, Mark.
Yeah, Division I didn't think was as big of a downgrade, but it was another one where the trailer looked a lot better than the final game.
It was pretty bad.
It's Ubisoft. I was like, Ubisoft's kind of the only company that really does that, I find.
Yeah, it's typical Ubisoft. Ed Rojas for $5. Love the show, guys. You remember Siphon Filter games?
Oh yeah.
Speaking of, we actually were talking about Sony Bend a little earlier. The guys that made Days Gone. Siphon Filter was their games.
Yeah, they both quit at the same time. So everyone thinking about a Days Gone sequel, well, hold your breath, I guess. You'll probably die.
I downloaded the first one. I downloaded the first one on PS5 because it's part of that PlayStation Classics or whatever games collection that's on there. So I might give that a shot after I'm done with Cyberpunk.
It's a solid game.
I like Sam Witwer a lot. I just never got around to playing it because I heard it ran like absolute trash.
The voice acting's
not
good.
for me.
Voice acting's good. That I will never forget that gameplay trailer when you ran into that horde. That was like 5 minutes of you like legitimately scary zombies that are fucking running at you, like a mass of them.
Yeah,
that was a pretty that gave you an idea what that game was going to be about, and I don't think it quite delivered on everyone's expectations, but it was still really good. And I probably don't think it's talked about quite as much as it probably should be.
Yeah, I might have a review of it if we get a lull in like February, and I can go back to play some of the games I missed.
I'll give you a lull. Ed Rojas finishes out saying, "I love the first 3 titles, then went trashy. Love to have those rebooted." Thoughts? Sounds like everybody would be on board with some of those. Ed, thank you for the super chat. Black Lotus for Canadian $5. Game Awards on December 10th. No one's gonna care. Too busy playing Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah, that's accurate. That's accurate.
I wonder if they're going to make any jokes about that. They're going to oh, who's actually watching? There's nothing else going on.
Now, look, we can make fun of ourselves, guys.
We're hip, we're cool.
Exactly. We're edgy. All right.
Hey, now before we wrap this up, Drunk 3PO is live over on the Park Hoppin' channel talking about Super Nintendo World and some other things. I might hop over there and join him very shortly, but you guys go over there, raid him, raid the chat, let him know you're there, smash the melee. Let's get him over 100 viewers. It's what I love about how much we have going on at Geeks and Gamers. We're doing this podcast. We've had our record number crowd here. We got Drunk over there making things happen on Park Hoppin'. I just uploaded a Sports Wars video that's going to hit 20,000 views in the first hour while the podcast is going on. We got a lot of good things in the works. And I'm really just want to thank everybody on the team for making this happen. Lethal has brought some really good ideas to the table that we're going to be implementing. So a lot of the things you're going to see here on the channel with us clipping out different things from the podcast and making it its own topic. That's Lethal Lightning's going to be helping with that. Mark obviously bringing everything to the table. Uche's making things happen behind the scenes that I'm not ready to talk about publicly yet, but he's connected us with some really good people. Ryan obviously has his hands in everything Geeks and Gamers. And one thing that a lot of people may not know, but Krista Nova actually is kind of the puppet master right now. She's got a lot going on behind the scenes with Geeks and Gamers, and the team is killing it. The website, we've got a new writer, Lyndon. We
got my Lyndon.
Yeah, Lyndon is now going to be writing for the website. Really excited about that. He doesn't say many words on a stream, but he's going to say a lot on geeksandgamers.com. So Lethal, he said, I can't get him to talk on stream, but damn it, I'm going to get him to talk on geeksandgamers.com.
In text.
I've tried everything. I've had world-famous porn stars, world-famous directors. I've had 100K sub-channels on stream. Can't get him to fucking talk. So he can type up a mean article.
It's good stuff. I love it. So, yeah, really proud of my team. Really proud of the future of this brand.
That's right.
Linden shave.
yeah.
That's about as exciting as it gets.
Really see me shave.
And then we will. Go ahead.
Well, hang on. I do want to show this real quick. So again, Mario Kart stream tomorrow, and if you want to see where gold like this comes from, that's all you got to do is watch the Mario Kart stream tomorrow.
Oh, fuck you, Jeremy. God. Oh, my fucking God. Fuck you, you piece of shit. God. Mark.
I haven't seen that. That was hilarious.
You know what else is funny? That's the most of The Mandalorian I've ever watched.
I still haven't seen yesterday's episode. X-Ray Girl decided to play Call of Duty Zombies with Krista and Tugs instead of watching Mandalorian with me. So I still don't know about Boba Fett.
And you couldn't watch it yourself?
No, I watch it with my girlfriend because I'm a good boyfriend.
It's only 24 minutes.
Well, I
Yeah,
didn't know
that shit lasts longer than that. We'll end it the way we always do, guys, with everybody saying what they've been playing this week. We'll start with Jeremy because Lethal's losing it right now.
Cold War, baby.
Jeremy?
That's all I've been playing is Cold War multiplayer. I actually played Zombies last night with Lethal and Krista. And
fucked it up.
Yeah, it did. But yeah, it's that's all I've been playing is Cold War recently.
There you go. Uche, what have you been playing lately?
I've been on Cold War with you guys most of the time, but also I'm playing Death Stranding on PC. I'm going through Control again on PC. Just trying to get my single player game on, getting ready for this Cyberpunk release. So that's what I've been playing right now.
I just had a thought pop into my head. Next week, none of us are going to want to be here because we're all going to be busy playing Cyberpunk.
We can take a break. I'm
going to be on today. I'm making my Twitch. My Twitch debut is going to be with Cyberpunk. That's where I'm going to start really.
You've already
using
streamed
my
on
channel.
Twitch.
Yeah, I have streamed on Twitch. I'm talking about officially, like I'm going to be.
This is like one of those. This is like one of those fucking Chinese. One of those Chinese like bargain bin places in New York City. It's like grand opening for like fucking a year straight. All right, so make sure to check out Uche's. It's The Observant Lineman. Is that your Twitch?
One word. Yeah, The Observant Lineman.
There you go. So make sure you guys follow that for Cyberpunk.
Any Geeks and Gamers stream tonight? Nothing scheduled, but obviously that could change. But there's nothing scheduled to my knowledge.
Yeah.
So,
Mark, what have you been playing this week?
I finished Demon Souls, the remake on PS5, and I've actually got about halfway through the game as a second character. The first time I ever used a magic caster in a Souls game, and it's super easy. So if you want a Souls easy mode, use magic, apparently. And just for the Demon Souls review that my hard deadline for is 7 p.m. on December 9th, because that's when I'm going to need to play Cyberpunk. I've been playing the original Demon Souls to get some footage from that, Bloodborne, Dark Souls 1, and Dark Souls 3. No Dark Souls 2, because Dark Souls 2 sucks.
There you go. Lethal, what have you been playing?
I've been playing Cold War and Marvel's Avengers, and we have the triumphant revival of the game with the upcoming free DLC, the world's most beloved character of all time. Female Hawkeye is coming in a few days.
Nice.
No, but honestly, they did stream it. They showed off what the character can do. I can't stand the character Kate Bishop. I think she sucks ass. But the gameplay looked fun. So I'm sure me and Young Ripper are looking forward to playing it.
Yeah,
that's it.
If Kate Bishop actually did suck ass, Lisa would probably be more interested in her as
if
a
the
character.
game did suck ass, yeah, I'd probably watch her show when it comes out. Oh, what's the name of the chick that's playing her? She's pretty hot.
Haley Steinfeld.
From
she's on Transformers.
Yeah, Bumblebee,
which is a
Transformers movie.
Very good movie.
Yep, I love that movie.
I didn't watch that. I'm really not interested in anything with a female protagonist. So,
well, I mean, technically, Bumblebee is the protagonist.
It's a joke. It's a joke, Mark. It's a joke. It's a fucking joke.
Kind of a joke.
Is it?
Ordsboard for $5. Thanks again, Ryan and Jeremy. This community means more to me than you know. Thanks for everything. I truly mean it. Yeah, Ordsboard, if you guys don't know, he made it to 1,000 subscribers last night. We gave him a little shout out on Friday Night Tights.
Hell yeah.
Very deserving, man. Really excited for you. Really funny to watch you freak the fuck out.
Yeah, that was cool, man. That was cool.
So
that's
awesome,
really
man.
though. That's Ryan. I mean, Ryan made that happen. That was awesome. That was a good call out by Ryan. Orts is a great dude. So we're really happy that you were able to hit 1K last night. That was good stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then as far as for me, I've been playing Demon Souls. I've been playing Call of Duty Cold War. I've been playing a little bit of Assassin's Creed Valhalla on my PlayStation 5. I do have to say that Valhalla runs fucking 7 times better on PS5 than it does on PlayStation 4. It's hard for me to play, honestly, on PS4. PS5, it's incredibly different.
Ryan's starting to come around on frame rate actually mattering.
Yeah,
and I bet it's kind of on purpose with the developers. They're probably trying to use that lack of smoothness in gameplay to push people towards the new consoles.
Yep.
maybe I don't know, but the connection between like Ubisoft and if they want to push PlayStations and Xbox, I don't know, but yeah, it was clearly made to be on next gen. Like that's how it was made, and it runs like shit on current gen.
Same with Demon Souls. When you put Demon Souls in the 4K fidelity mode versus the 1080p 60 frames a second performance mode, it looks like my PS5 is about to die. Like it seems like if I was playing it on my PC, I would also be playing on a second monitor Doom Eternal and doing some video editing. Like I don't understand why anyone picks the fidelity modes. They look so bad.
There you go. Mark doesn't like fidelity.
I hate 30 FPS, guys. I just can't deal with it.
And then Chris Arcella for $2. Hail Ryan and his sexy PlayStation 5. The bitch has got curves. What can I say?
I'll have mine next week. I can't wait.
Yeah.
So.
And then Steph is too busy laughing at me, the clip of me to breathe, evidently. So there you have it. But guys, this has been an awesome stream. We had more people here than we have ever had before. So thank to all of you so much for sharing the stream, being here week after week, and helping us continue to grow this thing. Thanks to Uche for being on with us as well, and to all of our normal
Yellow
regulars.
Flash next week.
Yellow Flash next week.
So I'm going to be hopping on with Drunk 3PO in a bit, where he's talking about Super Nintendo World right now. So please go over to the Park Hoppin' stream. There's going to be a link in the chat from one of our mods. There it is from Geeks and Gamers. So please join us over there. Support Park Hoppin', support Jay. They're doing a great job over there. If any of you guys want to join me over there, you're welcome to hop on. I'll see you over there.
All right.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you next week. Peace.